I mean, first and foremost, I want to give all praise to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son. Man, it's a great day, right? And also Barak Shabbat, everybody who's keeping the Sabbath today for you, lunar Sabbath keepers. We're gonna be going all the way to the Shabbat ends here in Dallas, right? So, shalom, everybody, shalom. Also, shalom to the sister Rocks. I just see you finally caught alive. All praise to the Most High God, man. Shalom, Israel. Shalom, everybody, bro. Shalom, everybody, man. It's a great day, right? But we have a very, 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 very packed show today, bro. We got a very packed show today. So before we even get into that, hit the like button, right? If everybody's happy to be here, if you love God, if you hate us, if you're indifferent, right, or you're whatever, right, hit that like button. Leave a comment. Be active in the chat. Share the video. We're gonna be talking about a lot of different things, right? Because I'm gonna start. Like, if y'all haven't noticed, I'm gonna start pivoting to doing more live shows and covering specific things that, like, either in geopolitics, things that are just happening in America, relating it back to the Bible, and just things also that happen inside of our community, right? And when I say that, I'm not saying like we're gonna do a Wendy Williams thing. I'm not. That's, if you know me, that's not me, right? We're not doing that. I'm just talking about things that are relevant to us, right? That's not gonna be me, right? But like I said, hit that like button, leave a comment, share the video, bro. Pack show today, man. We got three topics. We're gonna pivot through all of them, right? If it be the Lord's will. So the first one, the lineage of evil, LOE. Right, lineage of evil, lineage of Esau, is back at it again, and they had a march. They had a march today. Not today. I said today. They had a march on the 4th of July. America's 250th. No nations made it past 250. So we'll see how this year goes, right? But they had a march at the Capitol. Where they rioted before, like a few years ago when Trump lost his election. I know some of you America First people say, "Oh, he didn't lose it. Joe Biden cheated." He lost that election, right? But with the place where y'all got partnered, they marched there. They had masks on. They had Confederate flags. They had Betsy Ross American flags. And if anybody is astute with history, you know what that means. What a Betty Ross flag means with the 13 stars. You know exactly what that means. They're showing themselves to be who they are. They're actually the lineage of evil. There's some good ones. No, they are the lineage of evil. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. So, no, they're doing their thing. We're going to get into that, right? We have, what else we got? Oh, the war's still on. I want people to understand that. Like the MOE, the MOU, right? Memorandum of Understanding. People applauding that, which is crazy because it's only benefiting Iran. I'm okay with it because you know what I believe in. Right? But you have all these people who's bots in America just thinking that, oh, it's over with. They signed this. Nobody else has to die. Things are going to go back to normal. Our gas prices are going to drop back down back to what they were. We're going to applaud President Trump again. But I want y'all to understand that MOU is just buying them time so America can re-up for what they're going to do and what they're planning on doing. And we're going to see people talk about this, people who are more educated than me about it. We're going to see that today. What else we got? And lastly, we have another Christian. Doing what they do best. It's the same thing we've seen Jim Green do. When they're not astute enough to contend with us biblically, and I mean Hebrew Israelites, when they're not astute enough to deal with us biblically, what they have to do is go and stage things to make it look like we're violent monsters. Right? The same exact thing that Esau does with his false flags. Right? And it brings to me that verse that Christ said in John 8:44, you are of your father the devil, and of his deeds you will do. After his lust you will do. Right? That's what they do. They're doing the same exact thing when they try to go and stage things talking about, oh, they were assaulted by Hebrew Israelites. But when you go back and watch the footage, you were the aggressor. You were the aggressor. And to be honest, if you did that here, I applaud IUIC for showing some decorum, right? Because I can't say that would happen here in Dallas if we tried. I'm just gonna say it like that. I'm not gonna add anything else to it. So we gotta talk about that and talk about these Christians acting up. It's a lot of things going on in the world, right? We got also stay tuned for the Wednesday live stream. We have the Smart Christian, right? No, just the irony of what I'm about to say just now. What I'm about to say just like now, right? The Smart Christian channel, I forgot brother's name. He says, if you're trying to keep the law, you're going to go to hell. Oh, no, you're going to hell. If you're trying to keep the law, you're going to hell. That look, I said, so we're going to just throw all the, we're going to throw all the, what Paul said about the law. We're going to throw, what else is there? The Gospels out. We're going to throw everything in the Old Testament out. We're just going to just have Paul's epistles. And you know what he just read? He just read Paul. You don't see Christ saying any of that, but you know, we got to talk about that. That needs to be its own dedicated live stream because, good Lord, I can't say I've never heard anything crazier than that, but it's like that's easily on top 10. On top 10, the crazy, wacky Christian list, we're going to slide that in and maybe like 6 or 7, 6, 7, right? We're going to do that. Also, shalom to everybody coming in. Like, I think it's Alicia, Israel, Dewad. I don't know if I shalom you yet, and the other brothers. Shalom to everybody coming in. We got a packed show. We got a lot of stuff going on. I appreciate everybody showing up for the live stream. We just jump back into. Oh, one more thing, right? For people who's a member of the chat, I put a debate that I had at camp last weekend about. I'm just gonna just say Deuteronomy 7 because certain Hebrew Israelites think that's applicable to all heathen. I don't because I believe in what the scripture says. But I don't think we should go and get with the heathen. And what we're about to talk about tonight is why I believe that as well. But if you want to see that, subscribe to our and join our membership platform. We have all that in there, right? And various other videos, right? Also another video, if Yachty bugged out and turned into a Christian. That's a good one. And I'm going to be doing a little bit more of those too. What else I got? That's probably all I can remember right now. Let's just jump into the show. So let me show this on the screen. Now we see the devil right here. Oh, matter of fact, before you get me, where is it? This right here, fair use. Because we're gonna be looking at a lot of clips today, So fair use for the purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research, all things we do here on the channel, right? What we're going to be looking at is covered under fair use according to YouTube and according to the law, right? Under the copyright law, responding to things. So with that out of the way, let's see what Esau or the lineage of evil or the lineage of Esau is doing right now. So it says white supremacist group Patriot Front marches through DC on holiday weekend. What's that holiday weekend? What is that holiday weekend? Oh, the big 250. Right, the big 250 of when America was ratified as and made an independent specific nation, right? When they broke away from the oppressive rulership of the UK, Britannia, right? Great Britain. That's important to know for what we're going to get into a little bit later. So let's look into this. And we're going to also read their manifesto too. Because there's some interesting nuggets in there that needs to be talked about, so y'all understand who these people are and what they represent and what they do and what they believe in. Like I said, walking through my city, look, the Lord be with you, right? That you have to bear such monsters, right? That movie Monsters Inc. That's they could shoot the sequel. They could have shot the sequel on July 4th. In Washington, D.C., bro. They could have shot that and it'd have been it had did some numbers, right? So let's look into this. Watch this.
Alarming scene unfolded in Capitol Hill today. An alarming scene unfolded in Capitol Hill this morning as hundreds of members of the white supremacist group Patriot Front marched through D.C. The group moved throughout neighborhoods in the district wearing face coverings, carrying American and Confederate flags, and it caught many off guard. Our Sarah Robinson spoke with people who woke up to the march and say that they were shocked and unsettled by what they saw.
People living along 6th Street near C Street say they woke up to the sound of hundreds of people marching past their homes. At first, they thought it was a parade, so they started taking photos. But their reaction quickly changed to shock and fear when they realized it was the group Patriot Front.
Yeah, that way they don't have to keep them.
My reaction is that's gross. Ew, we don't need that today. The symbols of hate.
A group of hundreds of men wearing face coverings, navy blue shirts, and khakis was seen marching through the streets of D.C. from Union Station to Eastern Market.
I think I would be curious as to where that where their patriotism comes from and what they think that they're celebrating in America, especially
July the 4th. They're celebrating July the 4th how it was originally celebrated. July the 4th, you know who was on the plantations? Black people. Do you know who were in subjugation to these specific Caucasians? Black and Mexican people and Native American people. That's what July the 4th actually was. They got free, not us. So you're wondering where it came from, where it originated from. Why are we now acting surprised in 2026? Like you just never read about any of this. I'm surprised where they got their civil hate. This is what they do. And they don't have the testicular fortitude to even show up without masks. Like y'all can say whatever y'all want, but Hebrew Israelites gonna step out there and tell you about yourself, and we ain't got no mask on. You can see us. Right? You can see me telling you that you were the lineage of evil. You are the lineage of Esau. You are the devil the Bible speaks of. And what's crazy is it's not even the funny thing is the clip I'm gonna show. I think it's like the 4th one I have right here. We're starting to see some black activists come out and say that. Like it's not the veil of coonism is starting to slowly get ripped off, man. And all praise for the Most High for that, because we've been raccooning for a very long time, and it's time for us to wake up out of that, bro. It's time for us to get up out of that. So watch this.
On this weekend.
Get out! The group was seen carrying flags and iconography associated with Patriot Front.
Patriot Front is a white supremacist organization.
Luke Baumgartner is a research fellow with the George Washington University program on extremism.
What's the point today?
What's the point? National independence, the representation of the nation's cause and our people's interests.
But they do like to crouch themselves in this patriotic veneer. They use the Betsy Ross flag, they use the red, white, and blue colors to evoke this feeling of Americana. And basically what they're trying to get at is spread their message that America is a place for only white people.
The masked group.
Yeah, and what people don't understand about that Betsy Ross flag, I want y'all to look at this. So I have this right here, the Betsy Ross flag. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, now I know what time you niggas is on, right? Right. So the Betsy Ross flag is an iconic early American banner featuring 13 alternating red and white stripes and 13 white stars arranged in a circle on a blue canton, right? The circular arrangement was historically intended to symbolize the equality among the original colonies. What are those? The original 13 colonizers and colonies that came here and colonized the Native Americans and subjugated black people. These are the flags that they have, right? You know, some would say these people have salvation, you know, but I'm not going to go there. But yeah, these people want to go back to this specific time. This is what they want, right? And part of this and what this symbolizes, because you see, let me scroll down a little bit. So the legend, it says, according to oral tradition, George Washington, Robert Morris, is this what I want? Let me see. We can read it just in case. It's not what I want specifically, but we can read this anyway. It's according to oral tradition, George Washington, Robert Morris, and George Ross visited Philadelphia upholsterer Betsy Ross in 1776 to commission a new national flag. In the story, Washington's sketch featured 6 pointed stars, but Betsy Ross demonstrated how to fold and cut a perfect 5-pointed star with a single snip of her scissors, which the committee accepted, right? This is where you get that original 13 colony flag from, right? That changed into, the 50, right? What we have now. So they have this flag. What time period does this symbolize? When white people were ruling America, they had Black and Hispanic and Native Americans into captivity, and they established an ethno state here. That's what these people want. And all these people you see, let me scroll back real quick. All these people you see right here, these are regular people. These are regular Edomites that you see, like your doctors, your what else? Your police officers. It's mostly people who are in positions of power, which is crazy. Your police officers, people in the military, various agencies, various ones that we have to go to and subjugate ourselves to and be subjugated to. These are these specific people. This is your boss right here, who, when you fit all the qualifications to get the promotion, they give it to the white man who's underqualified. But he will smile in your face and say Black Lives Matter. That's this guy. That's why they wear these masks. So when people want to say we have to now love these, you've like, the amount of got me fucked up is crazy. Like, I understand this. This is something my grandmother taught me about, but if she was a part of the civil rights thing in Central Texas, right? She taught me about this at a very young age, and I understand it. I understand that now, right? But these are the regular people. This is your boss. This is the leadership over you at your jobs. These are these people. These are people who flew out from various parts of America. This ain't just Washington, D.C. people. These are people who flew out from various parts of America to be here on this day at this specific time to represent this. That's what they want. That is what they want. There is no we want peace. There is no coexistence. This is exactly what they want, and this is what they always have believed in. And we're going to see that when we read this manifesto. Let's continue with this.
Handed people WUSA 9 spoke with these flyers, stating they, quote, stand against gender hysteria, the murder of the unborn, the corruption of youth, and the assaults against the institution of marriage.
They don't want to be identified. They have jobs, they have families. It's unpopular to say, but they are sometimes normal people with careers and lives, and
that's who they are. These are your regular Edomites. These are, like, people just think, like, when you see this thing, like when you see somebody being called racist, it's far and few between all the rest of them. Like, I don't understand how we get to that conclusion, but all the rest of them who want to perpetuate the status quo of one people being higher than the other, and they being the people who are higher than the other, that's these people. That's exactly who they are. It's not just one person calling you the N-word. That's the ones you really kind of, if you think about it, you don't have to worry about as much. The one you have to worry about is the one that say, oh, I don't see color. I have Black friends. How can I be racist? My wife's Black. Like that. Those are the people you have to worry about. That's what I want people to understand, and what this really symbolizes. It's not just, oh, somebody's calling you the N-word. These are the regular people who this is your dentist who will tell you, say you want to go in for a root canal, your tooth is completely savable. They'll make sure that they can't save it and have to pull it. Now they charge you more money, and they get more money out of you because of who you are. This is your doctor who could have done more to help your child, right? But that goes south. These are these people. That's what this represents. That's what this movement is. It's your regular, what they say, regular chalk walker walking throughout the streets. That's these people.
Having and being publicly identified with groups like this puts that at risk.
DC Police sent WUSA 9 a statement on the march saying in part, quote, MPD recognizes the rights of individuals to peacefully express their views and remains committed to maintaining public safety. Neighbors tell me they are thankful that the march passed without any major confrontations or acts of violence, and they're hoping the rest of the holiday weekend remains peaceful. Reporting in Capitol Hill.
There's one thing I missed. Look at this.
Sent WUSA 9
what I want y'all to notice is, you remember, I think this was last week when we talked about the Kanye West thing, the Ye thing, where they didn't want Kanye to come and have his concert, which actually happened in San Antonio. They didn't want that. They didn't want that to go along. They wanted to be boycotted. They wanted to be canceled, and they didn't want public funds, because the Alamo Dome is like the taxpayers pay for that to exist, right? They didn't want taxpayer money to go to Kanye West or it to be used at all by Kanye West. But you know what you see out here? You know what you see out here with these people who want to bring America, I guess you actually want to make America great again for them. What you just notice about these people? Look who is with them and escorting them. The police. Who pays for the police? Oh, I know, me, you, all of us pay for the police. So it's okay for domestic, and I'm gonna call it what it is. When we read their manifesto, we're gonna double back to what I'm saying right now. It's okay for y'all to use taxpayer money to publicly escort around domestic terrorists, people who want to overthrow the government, because that's really what that is. That's these people. What they want to say about Hebrew Israelites and other people who just criticize America, that's these people. These people literally want to overthrow America. That is these people. It's okay for us to pay for law enforcement to escort these people around, but it's not okay for Kanye West to say, I mean, not everything he said is true, but say certain truths about small hats. That's not okay. That's something we should be a cause for concern. Look at how many people they organized. But this is freedom of speech. Oh, and now it's freedom of speech. It wasn't freedom of speech when Kanye did what he did, but now this is freedom of speech. Look at it.
With careers and lives, and having and being publicly identified with groups like this puts that at risk.
DC Police sent WUSA 9 a statement on the march saying in part, quote, MPD recognizes the rights of individuals to peacefully express their views and remains committed to maintaining public safety.
Yeah, so that's freedom of speech. That's what they want. That's what they said. Oh, they have the freedom of speech. They can do this. Amazing, right? It's all of this when you look at this specific instance with the Kanye West or Ye instance. This shows you one thing and one phrase. You know what that one phrase is? The complexion for the protection. They fit the criteria. They have the complexion for the protection, so they're protected under the First Amendment. Imagine that. I mean, you shouldn't have to imagine that, because look at what's going on with it in I believe it's Florida, where that black woman, they had Esau coming up and trying to advance on her, and she was standing her ground and unalived, bro. And now Fox News is getting up there talking about she didn't have to do that over a parking spot. What? In a stand your ground state? What? But you know what that is? The complexion for the protection. That's what it is. That's the state we live in. And all these people who want to maintain the status quo, or the ones who don't even care, but benefit from what their forefathers did in America, they all are collectively a part of our destruction, part of our basement, part of why we're at the bottom. From what they have done, rather. That's just looking at, and that's not even oh, you're racist. That's just looking at things logically, right? And it's not going to just be Yachty on the internet saying it. We're going to see what people said on NBC. Let's see. But this is it on this clip specifically. Let's watch a short. So, because this short makes everything concise.
Some breaking news on the 4th of July. There were 400 masked white nationalists marching through the streets of Washington, D.C. earlier today, chanting Reclaim America. They're members of a group called Patriot Front. Wearing matching uniforms and carrying Confederate flags, they made their way through the nation's capital just miles from the White House. And they turned what's supposed to be America's birthday into something very disturbing. Obviously, this march coincides with Trump's massive festivities at the National Mall. And the Patriot Front is just a horrible group. They've called for the United States to be turned into a white ethno-state, and they have a history of staging high-profile stunts like this. So, of course, they would show up near Trump's event at the National Mall. The group reportedly described its mission as reclaiming America for what it considers its true heritage. And that's a message that civil rights organizations have long identified as rooted in white nationalist ideology. Thankfully, their march through the U.S. Capitol was brief and peaceful. The group left the city around 11 a.m. this morning, according to Metropolitan Police Department. But just having to watch hundreds of masked extremists marching through our nation's capital on Independence Day, it gives off major J6 vibes. They know that if they want to attack police or anyone else or deface our nation's capital, this administration will most likely pardon them and then try their darndest to give them a big fat check.
Yeah, and that almost happened. These are the same individuals who try to do the January 6th thing. Oh, Trump's not going to be the president. No, we're not going to stand for this. And you see these saltines scaling these walls right here. Trump pardoned all of them. A lot of them went back to jail after being pardoned for a child grapery, child PDF filing, things like that. That's what a lot of them went back to jail for, which is ironic enough. Because I mean, just like Chirac, I think Chirac 10 says, as a king is, so is his officers. So it's like, and that's making reference to like a king's character spreads out to the people who follow him, who are up under him. These people do the same thing. Because you know who's in those files? Like with the Epstein files, you know who's in those things? Donald J. Trump. His name's in there, what they say, 1,000 times. And on top of that, they only gave, I think it's either 1/3 or 2/3 of the total amount they found. And he's in there 1,000 times. Imagine if Obama was like, and I keep saying Obama because like I'm in a lot of political forums because I keep up with geopolitics and I argue with these people, and it's funny. Because not only can I confound them with the Bible, I can do this with politics as well. So and every time you are a black person, quote unquote black person, they always bring up Obama for some reason. So somehow we have to be his apologist, right? Even though I don't personally agree with a lot of things he did, but it is what it is, right? But just imagine if Obama did this thing. But they allowed this man made $2 billion in the last year and some change as being president. Right, by insider trading, I think I'm gonna start a political channel because this, I'm starting to like how politics is going now, and it's easy to talk about these things without having to do like a whole bunch of like prep where you just gotta just turn the TV on, you see some madness happen. I think I'm gonna do that too. But I want to say this president pardoned these people, and he was trying to create a slush fund so that they could be paid for the government coming after them. So if that's the case, and if I know that the president in office is going to do that for me for basically doing insurrection according to like they call it insurrection, he's called it insurrection. If he's going to pardon them for insurrection, that's why they're emboldened enough to go out there and do these things. That's the mindset and belief of these people. Let's continue.
Because that's exactly what they try to do with the $1.7 billion weaponization fund. But they had to scrap that idea after backlash from just about everyone in the government. Yeah, so this is just another reminder that while some Americans celebrate.
Because that one, you're about to get $2 billion while you're going to the gas tank. For us in Texas right now, it's about like 320. 320, 315, right? That's outrageous for Texas. Gas is usually maybe like it hovers around $2, like flat. That's usually what it is. We got oil refineries here, but 3 something is crazy. Like it was like 4 something when at the height of the Iran war. Like it'll get to the point where decisions are going to have to get made. Decisions would have to get made. So what was I talking about? While it's costing us, like, some people upwards of $6 to $7 to fill up the gas tank, this man is trying to not this man on the screen, but the president is trying to create a slush fund to give these people money. You know what the irony about that is? These people are trying to overthrow the government. Like, and he is a part of said government. Imagine that.
Great freedom. Others are promoting hate. Let me know what you think.
Okay, let's look at this. So this is Secular Talk. This is like one of my favorite YouTubers for geopolitics, right? I want to show y'all the first minute and a half of this because I want y'all to see what these people actually want. Watch this.
All right, y'all. Happy 4th of July. Hope you guys had a great one yesterday. Hope you had some good barbecue and whatnot and met up with the family and friends. But yesterday, Trump's attempt to celebrate July 4th was an absolute catastrophe. Man, Mother Nature sent a message, and that message was crystal clear. She is not a fan of MAGA, to say the very, very least. So at the beginning of the day yesterday, this is all too appropriate, but we had around 400 white nationalists march on Washington, D.C. The name of the group is Patriot Front. And among all the American flags here, some people were waving Confederate flags. Now, I don't have to tell you the irony of waving the flag of literal traitors to this country on this country's birthday. But this is what the far right is. This is what MAGA is. This is what fascism is. So I have a video here for you. They also wound up throughout the day. They would chant for total Aryan victory. But here's what it looked like. Take a look.
It looks just like that. Oh, yeah. You're doing good, bud. You're doing good. We got plenty of stuff. How many viewers we got?
We're up to 460 now.
Let's go. It's incredible. What's up, YouTube? You guys having fun? Happy 250, guys. Happy 250. I know it's hard to see the screen. Can we get ones in the chat? If audio, video, all that's good, can we get ones? Is everybody doing okay? If we got 460 people in here, then can we get ones in the chat for a total Aryan mockery? Ones in the chat for total Aryan mockery, total Aryan victory, total Aryan Anglo.
So this is what Trump has unleashed on this country. The worst aspects of this country, the absolute most disgusting parts of this country, have now become mainstream, where people like this think nothing of going out there and talking about total Aryan victory and waving Confederate flags and trying to intimidate. Now, speaking of intimidation, he's going
to show the picture of what I'm going to show in this one. So they're talking about total Aryan victory. Do you know what total Aryan victory looks like? That's the complete casting away of anybody of color. Aryan victory is Caucasians, Anglo-Saxon, these people. That's total Aryan victory. They don't want us to be alive, but they can't afford to not have us as slaves, right? And that harkens back to 1776. They get their victory, they get their win, but we have to be slaves. That's what they want. This is your this is your buddy at work, Christopher. This is your buddy Tanner at work. This is them, your coworker. This is them. Now, in this, you see, these are they're about to get a panel of black and I think it's just black men and women, and they're seeing that Trump's not even condemning this. He's not saying anything about it. Oh, they have freedom of speech. You know, he wants to combat anti-Semitism, but these people have freedom of speech. You know that is. That's that right there. So let's watch this.
Joining us now, Eddie Glab Jr., MS Now political analyst and professor at Princeton University. He's also the author of the new book, America, USA, How Race Shadows the Nation's Anniversaries. And also with us, Michelle Norris, MS Now senior contributing editor. Thank you both for joining us this morning. I hope you are not nursing too bad of a July 4th hangover. But Eddie, I want to start with you and ask you, about why you think that a part of our society is so comfortable in this moment in time in explicitly showing the double consciousness of our American history that you so often talk about?
First of all, it's great to begin the morning with each of you. I think it's important to acknowledge that Donald Trump's administration, Donald Trump's political presence over the last 10 years has given a permission structure for the ugly underbelly of America to become more explicit. It used to be the case, I think part of the post-consensus of the mid-20th century freedom movements was that kind of explicit racism was moved to the margins of American politics. You can engage in racial dog whistles, but you couldn't be explicitly racist. Just think about how David Duke kind of brought how he was treated and eventually marginalized. Think about Pat Buchanan and the way in which he was embraced and then eventually marginalized. But now that sort of rhetoric, those dog whistles, no one engages in dog whistles anymore. It's just kind of foghorns. So I think there has been a permission structure to allow a certain segment of the country to declare that America must remain a white republic. And they're doing it in the midst of woke scare, in the midst of communism and the like. So here we are, just dealing with the legacy of the country in full view in this moment, in its 250th year.
You know, Michelle, speaking of the ugly underbelly of the country, this legacy of our nation, I want to put up a startling set of pictures. Let's put it up. There's the black woman on the metro here in Washington.
Look at that. That's what the dude from Secular Talk was going to show. Look at that. Look at sister sitting there looking like, bro, what is this? Imagine that. That looked just like this picture that we see right here of our sister getting berated by Caucasians with the police in the background, just sponsoring it.
Surrounded by those folks from the Patriot Front. And then on the left is that classic photo of Elizabeth Eckford surrounded by fellow students at Little Rock Central High School. She is one of the Little Rock Nine. The parallels here, the symmetry here is startling, Michelle.
That photo is probably Pulitzer worthy. It's a little early to start talking about that, but you know, that photo is one instance of a woman on a bus surrounded by people who are wearing masks, who are about to march in Washington carrying Confederate flags. But I see that photo and I see America's workplaces. I see America's school systems. I mean, those men are wearing masks, but they go and they surround women like her in their workplaces. They will go back to a place where they can take off their mask, and then they will be working someplace where their noxious ideas, you know, will be put in place in hiring decisions.
Yep. And in hiring decisions, in firing decisions, in positions where your children are affected, in positions where your health is affected. That's where they do. This is why the Bible calls them the devil, because they hide evil in the good intentions. That's literally being a deceiver. That's the literal thing of deception. This is what they do. They'll take that mask off and go back into just being, oh yeah, what's up, man? That's the same white dude who want to share a beer with you. But that last weekend, this is what he was doing.
In decisions about who gets a mortgage and who doesn't. However, when I look at them marching, trying to project power, I don't see power, I see fear. I see the projection of fear. I see people who are afraid of a future that has already arrived. They are afraid of an America that is multicultural. They are worried about a multicultural democracy. They are worried about losing power. They want to create an America where white people and white men are dominant. And
I'm trying to figure out though, how do y'all not have that already? How do you not I'm trying to figure out how y'all come to the conclusion that y'all are somehow oppressed by us. I'm trying to figure out how you think the government is putting us over y'all. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm very curious, because in 2026, I don't see that. I don't see that historically. I don't see that anecdotally. I don't see that at all. Like, you have everything. You literally have everything you could possibly want. You just want slaves again. Let's just be honest. If we're gonna be honest about it, you just want slaves. That's all it is. That's why they have. That's why they have Confederate flags. That's why they fought a war down here in the South to keep those. Oh, y'all said I can't have those? Y'all saying that the government's supposed to say, oh no, we're not doing all that. We're gonna start our own government, right? We're not only that, we're gonna go to war with you and overthrow you. It's starting to sound like a movie that just came out a few years ago called Civil War, right? Except without the slavery part. But that's what they really want. That's what you're afraid. You have everything you can want.
You know, America has to then decide: do we want to hold on to our superpower status?
As a matter of fact, let me see. Hold up. Let me see if I can remember this off the top of my head. Hold up. Let me see. Oh, yep, that is what it is. That's what it is. Let me see. All right, I'm just gonna do it in KJV. I don't feel like doing all the extra stuff right now. So this right here, this is Esau for you, right? Obadiah 1:5. Let me see. It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen until they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Right? That's the type of spirit y'all have, right? Y'all have enough of continue to plunder and plunder and plunder. That's why you see Habakkuk 2, was it Habakkuk 2 and 5? Yeah, Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine. Wine is doctrine. This isn't talking about literal wine. This wouldn't make any sense. But this is talking about doctrines and beliefs. We see that so many times in the text. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Now, what this is, the immediate context of this is the Babylonians. The original, the Chaldeans right here, you see, like, let me see up here. Yeah, but you see in chapter 1, he's talking about the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans are like this. That's the chief people of Babylon. We see in Revelation 11, 17, 18, 19, there is a Neo-Babylon, a new Babylon, spiritual Babylon. Who rules that? Who are the Chaldeans of that? These people. They embody the same spirit. It says they heapeth unto him all people. That's the same thing they did. Let me see if I can find this too. Right? Same thing they did with Hellenism. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. If not, I'll find it. Yeah. No, this is it. This is it right here. So First Maccabees 1:41. Then the king, Grecian king, we know what this Grecian king looks like, right? It says, then the king wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and that all should give up their particular customs. All the nations accepted the commandment of the king. They've always been like this. They embody the same spirit of the ancient Chaldeans, the ancient Babylonians. That's how they are this new Babylon. That's why you see in Psalms, I think it's 137, where it talks about like Esau is the daughter of Edom, is a daughter of Babylon. Right? They do the same things. They cheered it on when we lost our land, which is part of. Matter of fact, I'll wait till we get there because I want to do like we're watching a lot of clips. I want to get to the Bible after that. But these are things that I did write down. I'm thinking about now as I'm reacting to it. Right? They're doing the same exact things. They heap to themselves all people and want everybody to forget what you believe in. Like if these are your culture, your traditions, you got to throw all that away to be an American. That's what they want you to do. That's what they encourage you to do. That's what they want you to do. That's the spirit of mindset that they've always been. That's what they want to do with Patriot Front.
To be prominent in the world, or do we want to be a supremacist nation? Because, you know, if we do not produce enough college-educated white men to drive our GDP. You know, when you go to the doctor, who is serving you? When you go to the hospital, who is serving you? When you look at our economy, who is holding it up?
Who has always held it up? Us. You know why we've always, Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know why we've always held it up? Because y'all own the businesses and we are the consumers. As much as y'all want to get rid of us, that's why you have to have slaves, because if y'all just got rid of us, there'd be nobody to hold up your economy. Y'all, they want to do mass deportations of Hispanic people, right? But you know, if you did that, the reason why Trump is not doing that, even though he promised, he's not doing any of his promises, but the reason why he's not doing that is because if you did that here in Texas, especially, the economy would inflate by 20 to 25%. Think I'm lying? That's a government poll. That is a government. That is. I talked about that when this woman was talking about when Karen was telling this one Mexican couple to go back to where they came from, go back to their country. If y'all make that actually happen, these $1, they're not even $1 no more. It's inflation. These $2 to $3 strawberries y'all have will be $6 to $7. Like, as much as they want to say they want Hispanic people out of the country and us out of the country, y'all would have no one to work for you. That's why I say y'all just want slaves again. That's all it is. That's all it is. You just want slaves again. Because if we leave, your economy falls because you built it off the back of us. We're holding it up. Like you said, y'all don't even produce enough well-educated white men to be leaders here. Leaders for things that benefit society, like doctors, RNs. Like, who was an RN? What's the other nurses they got? I forgot the other one. You mostly see Black women doing that and Hispanic women doing that. Things, and when you go see a doctor, you most of the time don't see Esau. You usually see Elon. Like that, y'all, like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy when you stop and think about it.
With their hands and their shoulders and their intellect and their hard work. That is the America that will keep moving us forward. And the people who are fighting for this supremacist idea, these supremacist ideas, are willing to sacrifice all of that for the sake of their own power structure and this need to feel like they are above someone else. They are willing to put America in a lower position globally in order to continue to elevate themselves.
I mean, those losers that were walking around DC with those masks on yesterday.
There you go.
Michelle.
Them losers. There you go.
When I see folks like that, I see exactly what you see when you say you see fear, because they know what they have done with being the majority in this country. And so their concern is that we, black women, brown women, the Black and brown folks who at some point will inherit the majority of this country, will do the same thing to them that they have done to us. I'm going to say that before I play. I want to move on because I'm getting a little emotional here. Vice President J.D. Vance spoke yesterday about people who criticize America and what that means. And I want you guys to listen to this.
You will hear a couple small but loud voices today speak obsessively not of our national greatness, but of our national imperfections. They will speak of the powerless and the dispossessed. They will tell you that America is just another country where the weak struggle against the strong. So what I'd ask you to do, my fellow Americans, on our 250th birthday, is to reject the two-dimensional view of your fellow citizens and reject the two-dimensional view of your country.
Yeah, and that'd be the thing that be killing me about you American First MAGA morons, right? So you're talking about people are going to talk about the criticisms, people are going to criticize our imperfections. The imperfections that people criticize is the errant racism that you do to Blacks and Hispanics that America's been built off of. That is the criticisms. You want us to be like how that woman told LeBron, you want us to shut up and dribble. Y'all want us to be basketball players, rappers who rap about songs that your sons and daughters like, right? But will tell their sons and daughters not to do any of the things that are in these songs that we're doing. Propagate us and only propagate the ones of us who make music about killing each other, right? Y'all want to do that, right? But y'all will never even think about things like this and try to change them because you don't care, because that's the status quo and it benefits you. And not just the leaders, the regular people. It benefits them to have things the way they are. Like the regular white man in America benefits off of what they've done historically to the Black and Hispanic and Native American man, right? Y'all benefit from that. So how can we say at the end of the day, oh, they just accept that we're Israelites and give us money? Like, no. I'm not going for it. Not at all, not in the slightest, right? They benefit from it. And these are the things that we criticize. Y'all just don't care. And the reason why y'all don't care is because y'all are Esau. And we're going to see that.
Speak obsessively not of our national greatness, but of our national imperfections. Donald Trump, Eddie Glaude, has only...
One more thing. Y'all got to get political just one more time. So you want to get mad about criticisms, but that's the First Amendment. The reason why the First Amendment exists, when you look at what the quote unquote founding fathers of America, it exists so that you can criticize the government. That is not the sole reason, but a majority reason why that exists. You couldn't do that when Britannia ruled over America. You couldn't do that. Y'all talk about how we have free quote unquote freedom of speech and other nations don't, but y'all get mad when people criticize. That's literally freedom of speech. It's crazy.
Done that for years. He started his political career by doing that. He has talked about the crumbling America for a decade. So he could be talking about the president here. I think he's pretending like he's not. But even Donald Trump knows that if you seemingly love a country, that you should be able to say what you want and criticize it. So what is the J.D. Vance talking about here?
Well, let's put that. We could just look at the American Carnage speech, right, and just give an example of exactly what you're talking about. But I want you to understand, Eugene, that this is an ideological position. They reject more perfect union talk altogether because for them, America's perfection was secured in its founding. And that's all we need to do is to remember and restore. To talk about more perfect union is to talk about all of the failings, right? The failures with regards to slavery, with regards to women, with regards to child labor, with regards to workers and the like, right? So for them, that kind of conversation, right, exposes the country and it opens up this kind of multicultural imagining of America, this multiracial imagining of America. They want to shut that down. J.D. Vance wants us to simply shut up, those of us who look like me, right? They want us to shut up and be grateful. That's what they want us to do. And I think it's really important for us to understand the way in which they're mobilizing the founding for their white supremacist ends. And J.D. Vance tries to put it in kind of flowery language or makes it sound reasonable. But at the end of the day, what he's arguing, right, is that America is more than an idea. America is rooted in a culture that is fundamentally about blood and soil. Donald Trump said that in front of Mount Rushmore. He said, what? He said, American identity, American freedom. There's no American freedom without American culture. That's a quote. And so I think we need to understand these folk for who they are and name the devil that has us by the throat. He's a white nationalist for sure.
Boom. Name the devil that has us by the throat. The only way you can do that is by critiquing the government. The same thing Hebrew Israelites have been doing since we've existed. We've been naming the devil that has us by the throat, and that's the crux of what we that part of it. That's part of what we do when we go out there and teach our people. It has to be known, bro. It has to be known. This is the devil that has us by the throat. And when you look at him and look what they believe, now we can touch that manifesto and then we can hit the Bible, right? Because all of this we can see in the Bible, like what they plan on doing, what the prophecy says is going to happen, why they feel the way they feel. All of that is in the Bible. I just want to set the stage. All these clips is to set the stage for that. So let's look at this. This is Patriot Front's website. I want to look at their manifesto. Look at this. Let me zoom this in so you can see this, right? It's America stands at a crossroads of an era, and a certain future lies in the hands of a new generation, which has been given a simple choice between sovereignty or subjection. America suffers under the rule of an occupied government. An occupied government. That's what they believe that what democracy is now. They believe it's an occupied government. I want y'all to understand that, right? Watch this. Tyrants with delusions of infinite power. I mean, that sounds like Trump if I've ever heard of it. It says have declared the American people too weak to revolt. The damage done to the nation will not be fixed with the approval of a dysfunctional system, which remains American in name alone or only. Democracy has failed this once great nation. The resurgence of the American spirit will bring it the death of tyranny. The torch of revolution has been lit. These people are domestic terrorists. Y'all want to talk about us. Y'all want to talk about Hebrew Israelites. Y'all want to talk about Kanye West. Yeah. Y'all want to talk about various other people who criticize America. These people want to enact a revolution. That's why they have the Betsy Ross flags, because that symbolized a revolution against Britannia or the UK or Britain. The American Revolution. That's what that symbolizes. The only possible way for y'all to do that is to overthrow the government. Look at this. Let me read this last paragraph and then we'll hit the Bible. It says, when our pre-Columbian forefathers left their European homes, they found a savage continent. Imagine the people who didn't know how to bathe. We had to teach them how to bathe, but they found a savage continent. It says they held a variety of purpose, yet against the harsh life on the frontier and the common enemy in the strange and unexplored reaches of America, yet to be touched by civilization. So they act like they brought civilization to the world, into America. Imagine that. It says they found a common cause and a common entity as Americans. What was that common cause and a common entity? We're going to take this land, enslave these people, then transatlantic slave trade. That's what that common goal is. That's what they all commonly get together and all agree with. Let's continue. It says from the very nations and cultures of Europe, a new nation was forged in the flames of conquest. I'm not even going to attempt to say that, whatever the Edomite name that is, was the new creed that bound our people together with their pan-European entity as Americans. To be an American is to be a descendant of conquerors. Imagine, that's Esau for you. The first thing they're going to mention is conquerors. To be a descendant of conquerors, pioneers, visionaries, and explorers. Imagine that. This unique identity was given to us by our ancestors, and this national spirit remains firmly rooted in our blood. Oh, I got to read this last sentence. What's the last sentence? Our mission is a hard reset on the nation we see today, a return to the traditions and virtues of our forefathers. What is that? The American Revolution. That's what these people want to do. And knowing that, we should be prepared for something like this, right? And this don't even, what this means, what I mean by when I say that, by us being prepared by it, you should understand that they're just because they may seem friendly, just because they might be cool, this is their spirit. They want to destroy the government that they've already created to go back to something where we were slaves and we were in complete subjection. That's what they want. And what that hard reset is an overthrow of the government. What's crazy about that, we see something like that in prophecy. Let's read about it. Second Ezra, what is this? Second Ezra 15. Let's start at 14. I love starting here. The world and the people in it are doomed. The world and the people the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. And this is written, this is the Greek. The Greek word right here is ethni, right? Ethnicities. Ethnicities shall fight against ethnicities. That's in the prophecies, which Christ also talks about in Matthew, the 24th chapter, which we're going to read. Watch this. There will be great political turmoil with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. What's the legitimate government? People who've been voted into specific positions in America. We see this supposed to happen in prophecy. Then we see people like Patriot Front existing and then having their manifesto legitimately showing this. I mean, I'm not trying to be a false prophet or anything, but this is things we should be watching. Ezra said in I think it's 2nd Ezra 9, we should be watching for these signs. These are the signs in which Christ is going to come. There's going to be great political turmoil. One people trying to gain control over another. Nation to fight against nation. Look at 17. There will no longer be free access to the cities. That's martial law. That's the only way they could even try to quell this type of hard reset. It's through martial law. We should, like this, honestly, bro. Everything we're reading this part, like this from verse 14 all the way to verse 17, we can literally see. We can see this, right? It's becoming clearer and clearer. It says, because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. America, the other nations, everywhere, right? And this could easily be a part of the global economy crash because of Trump's dumb war with Bibi in Israel. It could easily be that because the oil shortages, it's called like this war and the Strait of Hormuz closing down is causing a global catastrophe. Trump is having to bail out the farmers because they can't even, number one, they can't plant as many crops because they can't get fertilizer. Their yields are even lower than usual. The animals and their livestock are suffering from disease. Have anybody heard of screwworm? Right? That's affecting us here in Texas with beef livestock and sales. That's where you start to get famines. When now the farmers, who's, to be honest, been getting screwed over for years, are now screwed over to this way because of Trump's dumb war with Bibi. This dumb war that's causing a global famine and catastrophe and oil shortage. Like, think about this, right? Remember what I just said? Let's read the next verse. Driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. That could easily happen with what's going on in geopolitics. I'm not going to say, oh, this is going to happen, but we can see this. This could easily be that. Let's continue. God says, I'm calling together all the kings of the earth to come from north, south, east, and west, and to turn back and restore what they have taken. This is going to Armageddon. These wars, right? Damn near everybody's going to take part in that. And how are they going to restore what they've taken? What have they taken? Israel. That's what they've taken. They've taken Israel and dispensed us far from our borders. They're going to restore that. How are they going to restore that? When this happens, that is simultaneous with our deliverance. Black, Spanish, and Native Americans. And we're going to read about that as well. It says, I will pay them back with the same harsh treatment they have always given my chosen people. That's what's happening, right? I will use my power, and there will be no mercy for sinners. I will put to death all who have murdered innocent people. And that's what this entire country has been established on. Them coming here, unaliving the Native Americans, them then participating and being a key player in the transatlantic slave trade for centuries, and that just doesn't get paid back according to y'all's God. Nah, like that's one thing that I like Like, I'm just gonna be honest. I can't fuck with it. I can't. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Like, they get to be the no. I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. Let's see what Christ said about this. So let's go to. Let me put this on the screen. That's it for second editors. What is this? Matthew chapter 24. Actually, since I put this on the screen too, let me put this right here. Close this. When y'all get a chance, go. Everybody who has Hulu, if you're in it, I feel like everybody in the truth. This is like a movie you should watch, just like how the Nat Turner movie was with us, with Birth of a Nation. You need to watch this movie, the Grand Nighthawk, right? Infiltrating the KKK. This man infiltrates the KKK and literally shows you how the people who are in the KKK, like, people act like it's just disappeared. It hasn't disappeared. These are regular police officers. These are EMTs that let people die. These are dentists that take advantage of who they're using their dentistry on, right? To either get money or to harm. Doctors in the same fashion. These are these same exact people who are part of this movement. Y'all need to go watch this movie.
The white people of this nation are sick and tired.
The members of the Klan, they exist among us in society, not in their robes and hoods, but in everyday street clothes.
My mission was to go inside the KKK for the FBI. I was Grand Nighthawk of the realm of Florida.
Basically, the Klan's top security officer.
The night of the cross burning, there were approximately 40 people there. David Moran, Charles Newcomb, Thomas Driver.
They'd all worked as prison guards. It turned out that the guards were members of the Ku Klux Klan.
Imagine that. Prison guards of the Ku Klux Klan. And it shows you, see this right here, this is a hand sign. There's a lot of different hand signs that they do to each other to show who are part of this, I guess, of the Ku Klux Klan or various white supremacist groups. And you can see, bro, when you see this, you're gonna look at these people differently. But y'all need to go watch it. If you haven't watched this on Hulu, pay your $7.99 or $9.99 to get the whatever the one with ads. Go watch this tonight. It's going to literally see, like Roxy says, I saw that. This is a great demonstration of what we've been talking about for this whole hour. You need to go see it, right? But let's go back into this. Let's go into Matthew chapter 24. So I'm gonna read verse 3 and then I'm gonna jump down to verse 30. Where are we going? 29, right? And then read 31. So it says, let me zoom that in so you can see it. Okay, boom. So Matthew 24:3, it says, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of the coming, sign of your coming, and of the end of the age, right? The end of the age, or like in the KJV, it says the end of the world, right? This is one of those times where the word world, aionios, it's like making reference to an age. When's going to be the closing of this age? When's the closing of this age? The time of the Gentiles. Their time running up, like running out. When is their time going to run out? And when are you going to arrive again? Right? They asked him when that's going to be. Now, I want to say something about this. When you go down to verse 29, they asked him about the sign of his coming, later in this chapter, he qualifies what he's going to do when he comes back, right? So Matthew 24 and verse 29, it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven, and with power and great glory. Watch this. Watch verse 31 specifically. Watch this. It says, and he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call to gather his elect Who's being gathered? The elect, right? From the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. Who has always been the elect? Israel. But he's coming to, this is the salvation that he's coming to bring specifically. What's going to be the sign of you coming to do that? Let's see what those signs are. So let's look at this. Let's start at verse 4, Matthew 24:4. It says, and Jesus answered them, see that no one lead you astray. For many will come in my name saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray. We've seen that happen with, who's that dummy? Yaju and various other, like you go on TikTok right now, there's 3 or 4 niggas right now saying that Jesus is the Christ. And then when you try to ask them things about the Bible, they have no idea and they start talking, right? We see that right now. And you will hear of wars or rumors of wars. We literally see wars now. And matter of fact, we're hearing rumors of wars with things that's going on with China and America. So I mean, that's for a later time, right? Is to see that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. Nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. Didn't we just see that in Venezuela? Didn't we just see that in I think there was like 5 earthquakes, 5 earthquakes in the last 5 major earthquakes in the last 2 weeks. Like we see these things, but I want to highlight something. So it says nation will rise against nation. This is where you get the word for ethnicities, ethnos, right? It says ethnos, but the pronunciation is nos, ethnos, right? So ethnos against ethnos. That's where you get races from. Even when you look in the Greek. A race. Race against race. That's what the Bible says. That's what Christ says that has to happen before his arrival, before he comes and delivers his elect. That's what we're going to see. We're seeing precursors of that with that march that we just saw. That's what that is. That's exactly what that is, right? And the reason why all of this is happening, the reason why all of it, because also real quick, Bruce Mega said 666, like that's the mark of the beast. That's going to happen as well, which is the RFID chip, right? You know, for all you GMS members who are watching, you know, I agree with that, but that has to happen. But what I was going to say, the reason why they're emboldened to do this and to try to come to America to reclaim this land and give civilization to an uncivilized land and hate us seemingly for no reason, even though we've served them forever and tried to be their friends, it's because of their forefather Esau, right? For the forefather Esau. Look at this. Genesis 27, we're going to start at verse 41. So Genesis 27:41, it says, now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, the days of mourning for my father are approaching, then I will kill or unalive my brother Jacob. That same spirit is on them. They're mad because of the blessing. They're mad because mother loved us more. They're mad because our heavenly father loved us more. And they're mad that it was ultimately the Lord's divine prerogative to give us the blessing. They're mad about that. That's why it seems seemingly, oh, they just hate us for no reason. No, it's for a reason. Because they in their spirit know who we are. One thing that kills me is that I see all these Christian apologists every single day making a video trying to say Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are not the Israelites, right? The pain and suffering you've gone through in the past, and what you will go through, and what will happen to you in the future is just because people are evil. That's just the way it is. God does not make y'all special. But how then do we see, how do we rationalize this? How do we rationalize we're supposed to believe in a God that just, if that's the case, he just hates us and just created us to be servants forever? Why should we want to serve that God specifically? if all of this, like, we're not special, everything that we see a part of the curses, even though they're all damn near applicable to us, Black, Spanish, and Native Americans, we have to ignore all of that and believe in this white Jesus Christ, and we're not special, and we're going through things just because, hey, it just is what it is. No, there's a spiritual war at play. These people carry the spirit of their father, the devil, Esau, and we carry the spirit of our father, the one with the blessing, the one who the land was promised to, right? Because they want to get rid of us. No, I'll save that for when we read this specifically. Let's go up a little bit. So let's go to Jacob receiving the blessing, which is already prophesied to be given to us before the quote-unquote trickery happened. So Genesis 27 and 26. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come near and kiss me, my son." So he came near and kissed him, and Isaac smelt the smell of his garments and blessed him and said, "See, the smell of my son is as this is the smell of the field that the Lord has blessed." Right. So this is when Jacob put on Esau's garments to try, like garments like how Esau would wear, and take the birthright, because it's supposed to go to the elder, right? But he's pretending to be the elder. Christians will say this: "Oh, he stole his birthright. How can he do this?" But the previous chapter talks about how the previous two chapters talk about how the Lord already predestined for the elder to serve the younger, and for the younger to receive the blessing. So this is all according to God's divine prerogative. So when he put these garments on to be like Esau, this is happening due to what God already prophesied. So this is why he's receiving this blessing. So when we see this, look at this in verse 28. May God give you of the dew of heaven and of the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Right now, when you look at this, it just seems like, okay, he's just getting resources, right? But what he's being given is what's been promised to Abraham, to Isaac his father, and to him specifically, and then all the 12 tribes. That is the promised land, the fertile crescent, that the Nile to the Euphrates. That's what he's really receiving. That's what all these resources really represents. But if you want to take this on a micro level, when you see where all Jacob got scattered to, it's all places with resources. The 10 tribes, right? The Northern Kingdom, when they came over to the Americans, America full of resources, right? Full of them. South America, full of resources. Various places in Africa where Jacob was scattered to, right? Because we can't just say there aren't Israelites there. Historically, they're there. They're also in the Middle East. Certain of those specific, not certain, all of these specific areas that Israel has been scattered to have natural resources. So even on a micro level, this is applicable to us. Look at this, verse 29. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Also, Shalom, see to David. They should bow down to you. That's going to make reference to what's going to happen to us in the kingdom. It says, be Lord over your, and what happened with David. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. An extension of the Abrahamic promise that we read in Genesis 12, 15, and 21. I think 21, right? That's an extension of the Abrahamic promise. So this is the blessing which Jacob got. Let's see Esau's blessing, which it really seems like a cursing. Where did I write that down? Let's go to verse 38. So look at this. Genesis 27:38. Esau said to his father, have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, right? And now this section we about to read right here, if you read it in the KJV, it's going to sound exactly like Jacob's blessing. And this is another instance of why I'm not really too keen on the KJV, because the Hebrew renders it just like how the ESV does, or the ESV renders it off of the Hebrew. The KJV look, I don't know what they were doing. So I'm gonna show you this in the ESV, and then we're gonna go to the KJV so I can show y'all that, right? Because a lot of Hebrew Israelites don't understand this. So when you go to verse 39, it says, "Then Isaac, his father, answered him and said to him, Behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall your dwelling be, and away from the dew of heaven on high," right? This is still with 39 right now. Resource devoid. When you look at Europe, it's resource devoid. They import their food. I did a listen about this on who Esau is, right? And we're going to actually double back on that because there's this dude that I've seen in this Christian group. I think it's like BK Apologies. He made an AI video trying to attempt to say Esau is not the white man. We're going to talk about that soon, right? I don't know when, but soon. But I showed in my previous video I did about who is Esau, they even admit that they're resource devoid. They have to import food. They have to import resources to build things and to actually exist in Europe. This is more evidence of showing you who Esau is. They will be away from the fatness of the earth. They'll be away from all these things. When you look at this in the KJV, real quick, because I'm going to show y'all this. See, it says the opposite of that. It says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy blessing shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. Right? It sounds exactly like Jacob's, but that's not how the Hebrew renders it. The ESV renders it based off of what the Hebrew literally says. It's away from it. It's completely opposite of Jacob's blessing. We were given resources. That's why everywhere we go to, we've been given resources. Everywhere they go to, resource devoid. Hell, even look at Petra. Look at all these various places they live in. It's a freaking desert. That's their blessing. That's really their cursing. If you think about it. Now look at this. It says, by your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will break the yoke from your neck. Right. So let's just deal with this part because this is going to go into something we're going to do a whole lesson on. Right now, it says, by the sword you shall live. Everything we read in Patriot Front's manifesto is this. The first thing it mentioned, we got to reclaim the spirit of conquerors, visionaries, expeditioners. This is them living by the sword. Y'all are easy. Like, it's crazy. They want to laugh at us for saying this, but why does it just fit so perfectly? It's like a glove. It just fits so perfectly who these people are specifically. So when Esau heard all of these things, back in verse 41, now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, the days of mourning of my father are approaching, then I will kill my brother Jacob. They hate that we are blessed. So when they came on these ships and sailed to America and saw the Native Americans and saw the land that they had and saw how it was plenteous with corn and various other things and resources, they hated that and took it. That's them living by the sword. They want to go back to that time. That's them being Esau. The Esau is being Esau right now, but it's fine. It's at the end of the day, it's fine because of this. It's fine. Let me look at this. Second Ezra 6 and 9 through 11. It says, now Esau is the end of this age. Y'all have y'all's age. Y'all are splitting the rules at the end of the age, right? Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that followeth. Our age that follows is an everlasting kingdom. Y'all don't get to come back. Y'all don't, when y'all go into captivity and y'all are reading out of 1st and 2nd Timothy trying to hold camp in the kingdom, we're gonna laugh, and then you're gonna continue to serve us. That's what's gonna happen. Trying to hold camp, reading out of 1st and 2nd Timothy, and I hated Jacob for which the blessing he received. Right? That's what y'all are gonna be trying to do in the kingdom of heaven. Right? But y'all had y'all's time, and it's coming to an end. Look at this. It says the beginning of the person the beginning of a person is the hand, and the end of a person is the heel, right? And this is supposed to say something about that part, though. Oh, no, verse 8 does, right? That we can just know that. Verse 8 talks about how Jacob grabbed the heel of Esau, where symbolizing he's gonna be the beginning of the age, and then ours is gonna follow, right? But they hate it. They hate. When they saw that land, they was mad that the Native Americans had it. They was mad that what you would call like the Aztecs and Mayans had this land. They were mad, and they came and took it because that was their blessing. That's where that manifest destiny comes from. Oh, God told me I can have this land. That's where that comes from. Look at this. This ain't even the first time we've seen them hate us for having things and hate us for having a land. Remember when I talked about Psalms 137? Let's look at this. Yeah, Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Lord, against the Edomites, the day of Jerusalem, how they said, lay it bare down to its foundations. They're cheering on the Babylonians when they're taking our land. O daughter of Babylon, doomed to be destroyed, blessed shall he be who repays you with what you have done to us. But I want to show you all this, right? So I want y'all to pay attention to verse 7 and now correlate it with what we've read in Genesis 27. They hated that we received the blessing of resources, land, and a continuance of the Abrahamic promise that is going to us. They hated that. So when they saw the Babylonians coming and taking our land and taking us, that's them being, oh yeah, that blessing they got, oh, it's getting taken away. That's what this is. All of that we inherited, that land, all of it getting taken away and them cheering it on is evidence of how they still carry the spirit of their ancient forefather Esau, who hated that we received that land, that blessing, that heritage, and those resources. Which brings us back all the way to the 1400s when y'all came here and tried to destroy everything and take it, because y'all was mad that that the Lord loved us enough to give us things, even without. Because the thing is, when the 10 tribes came over here to Arsrith, or America, the Jewish man calls it America. So if you want to get mad at me, you want to get mad at the Jewish man. Y'all Christians never mention him for anything, right? But they say America is Arsrith. So when they came over here, they didn't keep the commandments. Like, they kept certain cultures. When you go back, because I'm gonna do a whole thing over the diaspora. That's one of my main lessons that I've been working on, the diaspora and improving we Israelites, making our, like, the 12 tribe side even better. That's what I'm working on. That's my sole main magnus opus, whatever it is, right? That's what I'm working on. So when the 10 tribes came over here, the northern kingdom, they kept certain of the commandments, but they didn't keep all of it, right? But they still were blessed with the blessing that you see in Genesis chapter 27. They still received resources. They still had all these various things, right? That's showing you what Paul's talking about how he says gifts come without repentance. A lot of us have abilities and gifts that aided us in this truth and aid us in our walk, which we've always had our entire life before we even repented. Just like how they received that land and the benefits of it and the blessings that we had in Genesis chapter 27 without full repentance. But they hate that. That's why they hate us. They hate us because they hate us, right? Just like that. What's that movie? I forgot what that movie's called when they said that. I think it's The Interview. He said they hate us because they hate us. That's what that really is. That's why they do these things. But 2 more verses before we move on to the next topic about the war. Look at Ezekiel 35, one of my favorites. So Ezekiel 35. Let's see. We can start it. Let's start at 1. It says, the word of the Lord came to me, son of man, set your face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Mount Seir is Edom. like their capital. It says, and say to it, thus says the Lord God, behold, I am against you, Mount Seir, and I will stretch out my hand against you, and I will make you a desolation and a waste. I will lay your cities waste, and you shall become a desolation, and you shall know that I am the Lord. How is the Lord known? Through judgment, right? And just laying it waste to mirror their quote unquote blessing, right? So verse 5, it says, because you cherish perpetual enmity, that's perpetual hatred. You cherish perpetual hatred. That same spirit Esau had by hating Jacob, y'all cherish that same spirit. Because you cherish the perpetual enmity and gave over the people of Israel to the power of the sword in the time of their calamity. The same thing is talking about in Psalms 137. Y'all were there aiding the damn Babylonians, right? Since y'all did that, it says, let me read that again. Because you cherished perpetual enmity and gave over the people of Israel to the power of the sword at the time of their calamity, at the time of their final punishment. Therefore, as I live, declares the Lord God, I will prepare you for blood, and blood shall pursue you, because you did not hate bloodshed. Therefore, bloodshed shall pursue you. And that's important to know, because you know what form that takes. When you go look at European history, you see how many wars that they've had. They want to talk about black on black crime. Do you know how much white on white crime has happened in Europe? About the wars and the dukes that happened there? That's blood pursuing them. And not only that, the nations around them pursuing them. Then when you go look at how America was formed, the same thing. America's dead. I can't remember a time in history where America wasn't at war with somebody or something. That's how blood pursues them, since they cherish that hate. So let's go down to this, right? So verse 10, it says, because you said the two nations and the two countries shall be mine. They wanted their land and our land, and we will take the possession of them, though the Lord was there. Therefore, as I live, declares the Lord, I will deal with you according to my anger and envy that you showed because of your hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I judge you. Look at this. And you shall know that I am the Lord. I have heard all the revilings that you uttered against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate. They are given us to devour, right? That's the same exact thing that these people who bear the Betsy Ross flag and the Patriot Front movement are doing. Oh, these people are nothing. They're savages. This land is ours. Manifest destiny. Let's go back to that time. That's the same spirit that was on the Edomites here in Ezekiel 35. It says, and you magnify yourself against me and your mouth and multiply your words against me. I heard it. Thus says the Lord God. No, let's deal with that. Multiply your words against me. I heard it. That's where they say I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. You know when that was created? When America's inception was 1776 and the American Revolution against Britannia or Great Britain. That's where that exists from. At that time, were we slaves then? Yes. That's the great word you multiply. I'm proud to be American, where I know, as a white man, you know, you can rule this land right here. I can rule over this land that you gave to the Native Americans and to the Taínos and to the Aztecs and to the Mayans, and it's going to be ours. Manifest destiny. They're literally saying God said I can have this land. That's the words that's the multiplied words that they have against the Most High. That's where that manifest destiny, the doctrine of discovery, comes from, right? And multiply your words against me. Thus says the Lord God, with the whole earth, while the whole earth rejoices, I will make you desolate. The whole earth is going to rejoice when this nation is brought down, right? And I don't mean that as America specifically. I mean that is the nation or ethnos or Goy of Edom. When they get brought down, look at this. As you rejoice over the inheritance of Israel, what's the inheritance of Israel? The inheritance of Israel is a land. As y'all took our land, like how y'all are trying to reclaim over here in America during the during the Patriot Front movement y'all got going on, as you rejoice over the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I deal with you. You shall be desolate, Mount Seir, and all Edom, all of it, not some of it, not the majority of it, all of it. Then they will know that I am the Lord. That's when you're gonna know the Lord today, because y'all don't know the Lord. If you're thinking that y'all know the Lord by enslaving Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans at this current moment, you don't know the Lord. That's why Christianity is a false religion. You think these people who's coming to enslave Blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans came with the true doctrine of Christ? Do you believe that? Who believes that? Who believe? Why should you believe that? Like, it's crazy. One more. Right? Jeremiah 40, was it 49? 49 and 12. Kadar showed me this verse. I've been looking for this verse for a year. I've been keywording it and still not finding it. Kadar gave me this at after camp when we were doing a brotherhood thing, right? So Jeremiah 49 and 12, it says, "For thus says the Lord, if those who did not deserve to drink the cup must drink it, will you go unpunished?" And for some reason, certain Hebrew Israelites think they're not going to go unpunished. It wasn't our role to go into captivity. Our position is supposed to be the leadership of the world, right? We are supposed to be the ones that lead people in righteousness, be the light to the Gentiles. That's what we're supposed to be, right? And that has to take the form of our kingdom being established over the planet. But that's what we're supposed to do. We weren't supposed to drink this cup of captivity, right? So we weren't supposed to do that. But you think that y'all aren't supposed to do that? Y'all think that y'all aren't supposed to drink that cup? If we had to drink the cup, y'all think y'all don't have to drink the cup? You think America will last forever? You think y'all be saved with the Israelites? No. You shall not go unpunished, but you must drink. For I have sworn by myself, declares the Lord, that Basra shall become a horror, a taunt, and a waste, and a curse, and all of her cities shall be perpetual waste. And that's what has to happen to Esau. They have to drink of the cup. It has to. If we have to drink the cup every single day of devastation, desolation, a destitute minds in our people, hatred of our own people, every time we do anything evil, that has to get broadcast on the freaking TV screens, even though they do evil every day, every hour, every second. But we have to be the ones that are all the evil persons, all the bad things go on. Like, if that has to happen to us, y'all have to deal with the same thing. And you know what that's called? A just God. A just God. That's what we believe in. That's the end of it. That's what we believe in, a just God. So with that, let's go on to the next topic, right? Let's go on to the next topic. Is it? And look at this, right? And one of those judgments is Obadiah 1 and 18. That, yes, Mr. White, you are 100% correct, right? Where was it gonna go? So let's go on this. Boom. Let's look at this.
Use it as a stopgap measure, but there's really no true,
Let's talk about the war being back on.
They are really.
So we see right here, what we're about to see is this is another news channel I watch, like redacted. I'm gonna say this again for everybody who may have never heard me say this. The main places I go to get news, I don't watch CNN I don't watch CNN, Fox News, no state regime media. I'm not watching that. Where I get news from, Redacted 1, Midas Touch 2. These are in no order. Midas Touch 2, Secular Talk every day. I watch that man's channel religiously. Where else am I missing? Adam Mockler. Who am I missing? What's another one? Damn. Who am I missing? It'll come to me later. But those are the main places where I go. RT News too. That's where I get my news from. If you're looking at if in 2026, if you're watching CNN, Fox News for for news and for information on what's going on in geopolitics, you're brainwashed. You might be a bot, right? I just need you to know that, right? I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you unplug from the matrix. But this is where I get my news from. So let's go into this video called "Everything Is Fake and Gay," just like Trump's Iran peace deal. That's a crazy title. Scott Ritter, there it is. There it is. That's the one. Scott Ritter. He's usually on Redacted sometimes too. Scott Ritter, because he shows you the news from somebody who was actually in the military, like their standpoint of how they would deal with things. That's what it was. I can never remember that dude's name, but that's usually where I get my news from. Let's jump into this.
Really not part of the discussions. No one called us. We're not even really at the table. I don't know what they're talking about. Well, to those of us who've been watching this very closely, it always seemed like this Iranian peace deal, this MOU, was one giant scam, especially when you hear from the Iranian side. They are really not part of the discussions. No one called us. We're not even really at the table. I don't know what they're talking about. There won't be any discussions at all until 4 major pillars of the MOU are even adhered to. This idea that, hey, unfreeze our assets. Nothing's going to start here until you unfreeze our stolen assets and our stolen money. Like, you can even table the nuclear discussion piece of this. Like, we're not even going to entertain talks about that until you unfreeze these assets. And also, you promised getting rid of these sanctions. So why would we open up the Strait of Hormuz once again for you when you've stolen our money? But anyway, so that all appears to be going nowhere. And then we have this reporting this morning from the Wall Street Journal. Trump briefed on all-out war options in Iran, but opts to stick with talks for now. And I'm going to quote here from this. President Trump has weighed a return to all-out war with Iran, holding multiple conversations in recent days with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Dan Kane, on more strikes, but has decided to stick with diplomatic talks for now, according to U.S. officials familiar with the discussion. The conversations have centered on whether the U.S. should abandon negotiations and resume full-scale attacks on Iran, the official said, a move some of them described as finishing the job, quote, finishing the job, while not making a final decision. Trump has told aides he believes another round of full-scale attacks could derail diplomacy and hurt Washington's chances of ultimately dismantling Iran's nuclear program.
Like Trump don't mean none of that. Trump, like we got the show with JD. What is it? I forget his last name. JD, the vice president, right? They're just using these talks and diplomacy to rearm themselves to go back into this war. He said it verbatim. He's gonna say it verbatim, and we're gonna see JD Vance. There you go. I don't know these Edomites, right? You know. Who? I've never heard anybody last name Vance. Like that's like Mitt Romney. That's a Mitt Romney ass name. But this Trump is acting like every Edomite we've ever seen in history. They make truces, or they attempt to make truces, but they kill the negotiators, or they have ulterior motives. It says something like about that in Psalms, where it says his words are smooth as butter, right? Like it's basically his diplomacy. Right, but he had war in his heart. That's what Trump is doing. This war is still on. Gas prices may have dropped, but I'm telling you, bro, it's coming, and we're scraping the bottoms. We're scraping the bottoms of our oil reserves as we speak. That was supposed to run out late, like I think mid to late July. We're here. We should be prepared for things. You should understand and know that, like, look, we're running out of time, bro. Time is running very short.
But then Vice President J.D. Vance dropped the mother of all bombshells during an interview, and it seems like he fully let the cat out of the bag. It seems he, on this MOU peace deal specifically, that it's nothing except one big scam designed to give the United States time to restock its weapons and its oil supply. Listen.
So I think what the president has told us to do is use this MOU to sort of refill the world's oil economy, to refill some stocks, and then to see where the hand is.
Okay.
What a big dummy. What a big, gigantic. That's why Iran is not showing up to the table no more, because they know what time it is. They know what time it is. You are a big, fat dummy. Right? Why would you say that on live TV? Like, yes, he could be lying, but everybody knows he's telling the truth by what everybody is saying outside of him. Because usually we can be like, okay, well, it just lies. We can't trust that. But when you see everybody in the, like, who's high ranking military people, even if you talk to certain people, they know he's lying. Trump has been a war hawk since his first presidency. This is what he want to act like. He wants to act like, oh, I don't want to go back to war. But this man wants to go back to war. But you know what that means? That means we're looking at oil prices going up to what, $200 a barrel. You know what happens when gas goes up $200 a barrel? Now, when it's like 80, 90, or when you like 80, 90 to almost 100, you're looking at a national average of $3.6 a gallon. Now, if that doubles, gas is $6 to $7 on average in the nation. Imagine living in New York. Imagine living in California. Oh my God, right? That's what we should be prepared for, right? And I'm gonna talk about that when I go to the Bible about this subject. Let's continue with this.
There you go. So this is what the president has told us. He just used the MOU as just cover for restocking, getting our oil supplies back up, get our missile supplies back up, use it as a stopgap measure. But there's really no true, like we're not going to actually go through with this thing at all. I mean, that explains why the president is out touting the idea that GM and Ford could start to build Tomahawk and Patriot missiles. Like, forget cars. Like, what we need right now are Patriot missiles and Tomahawks so we can relaunch this attack. And then, of course, you're hearing the rumblings on the Iranian side that the U.S. is preparing for some sort of a massive invasion force.
Yeah, they're preparing. They literally have invited Americans to come and try to storm, Americans try to storm the shores of Normandy and all that, like D-Day. They want Americans to do that. They have drones. America is the only people trying to fight a war like it's the 1900s and 1800s again, which were infantry. China, especially China, Russia, and Iran have drones, and they're waiting. That they're going to hear the sound of flickering, and then all of these people are going to die. That's what's going to happen. Like, this is a baboon regime, right? I got that from Secular Talk, and I'm using it. This is a baboon regime. Now, what that entails is, and the reason why I mentioned it, that's going to cause the consumer, Shalom Amash, that's going to cause the consumer to have to pay higher prices, to where you're going to have to make decisions, bro. And oil decisions, and like with famines. These are the same famines we read about earlier in 2nd Ezra and Matthew chapter 24. When people are going to be mad, trying to steal and plunder from people, this could be the cause of that. And it probably will. Like, bro, the oil reserves have never been this low since their inception. What you gonna do when you wake? What you gonna do when Trump can't manipulate the oil markets anymore? This is things you should be preparing for. Now, when I say that, right, and I'm gonna say this too when I go into the Bible a little bit later. What I'm saying when I say that, I'm not saying, oh, just trust in all the things you can get, like canned goods and all these other things. Don't just trust in that, right? But us being stewards of the Bible and stewards of the Word, that don't mean just sit on your hands and do nothing, right? I'm not saying that. Especially me. Look at me. No, I live in Texas. We get the pew pew. We get the various different versions of Nomatati. You probably watching this. We get the pew pew, right? We get certain things. We get prepared for things like that, right? We can prepare ourselves with canned goods and medications and things like that, which will help you, right? Because we have to actually suffer through this tribulation. It ain't gonna be like it's not gonna be like a quick thing. We see Noah gets told to build the ark, to get prepared. He didn't just sit down and wait for the water and wait for it to start raining to start building the ark. The Lord told him to build the ark, and it took him a great deal of time to build that ark, and he was ready when the rain fell. That's what I'm telling my people to do, right? We know this is going to happen. We know we have to have faith. We know we're going to be delivered off our faith and our works, but that don't mean just sit on your hands. You can do something. So do something, right? I'm even telling myself that because I can do a little bit better than I'm doing, but do something. And I'm saying that because I care about my people. That's also why I do this. We can do something. Get you some live straws so where you can convert dirty water to clean water so you can drink it for your kids. Go get you a med pack off Amazon, or really don't even do that. Go look up the pieces. Go on ChatGPT and look at the pieces you can get to fill out for your house, right? I found out I need that even though we're not even even before we're going through all this. When my wife did what she did, being clumsy, right? Get you a med kit. Go on ChatGPT, type in what like the bare necessities for a med kit. Buy all those singly on Amazon. Do that. That'll help you out in the long run, right? But more importantly, have faith and strengthen your faith, because the things we're about to see in the tribulation is an illustration of God being true. He's about to make himself be true with the famines, with the wars, race wars, and all this. He's going to make himself true when he does that. Don't wait till it starts raining, because I'm telling you right now, it's starting to sprinkle. It's starting to sprinkle.
Is that just BS? Is there any truth to that? Brandon Weichert is the author of the Weichert Brief on Substack, and he joins us now where everything seems fake and gay, as we said at the beginning. Brandon, like, you've been calling this out for a long time, that there's really no there when it comes to the MOU. And now we have this admission from the vice president, who seems to have let the cat out of the bag. What do you make of his admission on this?
Well, he's repeating, as you said, what the president has already indicated. Although I will say there is a slight glimmer of hope here. And you know me, I'm normally Black Pill Brandon. But there is a slight interesting twist here. I have heard that the White House is establishing a red line, a deconfliction line, a hotline with Tehran, similar to what we established with the old Soviet Union during the Cold War to de-escalate geopolitical crises. So it is possible that the war is not ending by any means, but we might be entering in somewhat of a, if not a cold war, certainly a lukewarm war. But do I think the war is over? No. Do I think that this MOU is sustainable? You know, I'm very skeptical. Do I think that we are, all of us, all three sides, Israel, the U.S., and Iran, are using this window to rearm and re-equip and prepare for another renewed round of fighting? Absolutely. But I did find it interesting that they are establishing this red line. It's very interesting. The implications of that are very big. Not only is it important for de-escalation, it also obviously indicates we think there's going to be a longer term, some kind of conflict with the Iranians beyond what it's happening now, possibly protracted, but also it might indicate that we're normalizing relations on some level because we can't beat these guys militarily. So I don't know. It's very up in the air, but the vice president's comments do indicate that this is not an end of war scenario any way you look at it.
And is it even possible to restock? Because we've talked many times about how we used up a lot of our stuff. You know, you're the one who's really good at the bean counting. Could we just reproduce that in the manner of weeks in 60 days while we sort of let the MOU expire? It doesn't seem to me like you can just go out and build bombs and attack them and all of that. Like, why don't you lay that out better than I could?
Yeah. So basically, I think this is another reason why you're not seeing the return to normal fighting that we saw before. We are depleted. And
yeah, because Trump's dumbass. Let me say like this real quick, right? A little bit of political yachty. Trump's such a dumbass. He thought that he could just bomb his way into them submitting. But these people are not like Americans. They live under a theocracy. You've made this war existential to them to where now they're reading their revelation type books, their end of time type texts. They're all uniting. Like they thought that Trump thought that he could just blow up the leader, the Ayatollah, and just, you know, oh, they're all hate him. They'll just revolt and they'll just overthrow themselves. No. Like what are you doing? So he wasted $100 to $200 billion worth of taxpayer money, and now you're even farther away from any of your objectives. Now you have to do an MOU, a letter to say a deal to say we're going to do a deal in the future, to now use that as a scapegoat so that you can rearm and to go back to fight these people again and do the same thing over and over and over again. This is the new forever war. This is Afghanistan 2.0, except Trump is such a goddamn taco. He's not going to send this. I don't know. I'm not going to say this. But he's not built to deal with this. It's a baboon regime. He doesn't care about affordability. I think Scott Bessent the other day, the Secretary over the Treasury, what is affordability? Boy, these people don't give a damn about anything. They will send America and the world into a global famine and a global catastrophe, an oil catastrophe, just so the white man can be the white man. So America doesn't have to take an L or anything like that, or make it look like they've taken an L, even though everybody in the world have seen it. That's this dumbass. It's crazy. But my overarching point is he thought he could bomb his way into them overthrowing themselves to make Iran a failed nation or a failed state. But let me show y'all something. I forgot I loaded this up. Look at this.
All right, welcome to the show, y'all.
Let me show you this. We're not going to watch all of this. I just want to show you part of it.
As you can tell, it's just a little bit different today. I'm on vacation. Eliminated in post. I don't know how Mitch McConnell actually did. We will, a speaker said, Trump's assassination is our duty. Never abandon your revenge. Okay, so I'm going to play this for you. Obviously, it's not in English, but nonetheless, you'll get the vibe of what he's saying.
This is at the Ayatollah, which Trump just bombed for no reason. Bombed this and a little girl's school. You know, that's the barbarism of these chalk walkers. Bombed him and bombed the little girl's school. This is how they feel after that. They say they hated American media. When you watch Fox News, they all hate the Ayatollah. They hate the rulership of Iran. They're just going to overthrow it. Now, let's see how they feel at his funeral.
Watch.
اگر قاتل تو را نکشیم از این به بعد کفن جای جام برتن ماست قسم به خون تو قتل ترامپ گردن ماست.
Yeah, I don't know. He sounds pretty angry, and that crowd seems pretty fucking into it. And they're basically chanting for the death of Donald J. Trump. Okay, we also have this.
This is this. If they hated the Ayatollah, I've never seen anybody pack a funeral like this and for somebody they hate. Right? Look at this.
Ayatollah Khomeini's funeral ceremony. And Al Jazeera is saying it is officially the largest recorded in history. Let me show you that. Here we go. So for everybody just listening audio style, I mean, it is like shoulder to shoulder in a massive public square here. Basically, as far as the eye can see, packing the entire street. Wild stuff, man. These images are kind of crazy. They are kind of crazy. And look, I was worried that they were going to attack the funeral, bro. I'm not going to lie. I was worried based on everything the U.S. and Israel, the axis of Epstein has done to this point. I was worried they were going to attack the funeral. Obviously, this so-called ceasefire is completely and utterly fake. You have Israel not even abiding by the terms of it in the sense.
Let me show you also the barbarism of the white man. Look at this. Look what Mark Levin did. You know, Trump's biggest fallatizer, right? He's always sucking Trump off in Israel, the Israel lobby.
That they're continuously going after Lebanon, even though they're not supposed to, and they're supposed to withdraw. And, I looked at this thing and I said, holy shit, there's a chance that there might be bloodshed here. And on that exact point, Mark Levin came out and said, yesterday, the enemy gathered en masse, all in one place. Opportunity lost, he says. Mind you, of course, the overwhelming majority of people who were at this thing were not IRGC officials. We're not terrorists. We're talking about civilians. We're talking about regular Iranians who hit the streets, okay? Regular Iranians who hit the streets. And so he's calling, why didn't you actually just nuke them or drop a Moab or use some chemical weapons or things of that nature? That's how depraved Mark Levin is. And
that's why I say these people got to go, right? I'm wild for saying it, but this guy says at a funeral, look at all, like 12 million people, 12 million plus people there. He says, oh, it's all, everybody gathered up in one place. Opportunity lost to blow them all up. Bro, y'all, like that, who thinks about this? And now when a black man goes and shoots up a damn funeral, y'all want to put that on TV. Look at how evil he is. But y'all want to talk about these people at a funeral for their leader, which y'all blew up. Also his wife, also his kids, disfigured his son, also blew up a little girl's school. But we're monsters. That's what be killing me. But look at these people in solidarity. Like, these people know that they could have got blown up at any moment by Israel, by Bibi, or by Trump, and still went out there to go mourn their leader who they loved. But you go watch Fox News right now, they'll tell you, right, that they all hated him. These people are very upset with America. They're very upset with America right now. So this is still on. This ain't going nowhere. Let's continue with it.
And okay, sorry, I was getting we were having some audio issue, I guess, but I think I fixed it. We are depleted, and ultimately, it's going to take a long time to restore the fighting. To restore the fighting capability. But there's proxy wars. There's now my wife's calling me. There's proxy wars.
So you're getting double audio from our side, and now your wife's calling you.
And then I apologize. I thought I had do not disturb on. But there's a full-blown arsenal crisis here. Israel has it too. Not the case for Iran. And furthermore, it's going to take a while for us to really have that fighting force back. But we could do things via proxy. And we could do this thing where we do sort of these limited pinprick retaliations. I keep saying the best case scenario, it's not going to be peace. The best case scenario is going to be similar to what we had with the trade war, which was Trump declared full trade war on basically everything. And then he spent the next year kind of negating that with his, carve outs for this country and this exemption for this group. And I think that might be how he's going to try to sort of thread that needle, at least until after the midterms, because the president is aware we don't have the weapons we do. That's why he's saying August 18th is no longer a hard deadline. It's a soft deadline. He said that yesterday. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that today. It's why he suddenly is dropping the nuclear issue entirely until after the MOU expires. But now he's saying it's a soft deadline of August 18th. So again, I don't think we're heading toward peace. I think the war is coming back again in some capacity, but it might not be the level of tempo that we saw the last couple months. It might be proxy, indirect, shaping type situations until Trump feels that he can get the kill shot on these guys. But newsflash, you're not going to get the kill shot on these guys, not with this arsenal crisis that we have, and certainly not with the politics in America, I believe, seriously changing and working against him.
So right now, oil, big question on oil prices in the United States. Everyone heading into the holiday weekend, we don't want to think about foreign wars. We want to think about the United States and people taking to the roads to drive. Oil prices, I think I'm just looking at crude prices now, fell to $71 a barrel.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Enjoy it while it lasts, bro, because it ain't gonna last. All right, it gave us a nice little reprieve, but yeah, end of this year, bro, it's gonna be everybody's pulling out of their 401ks, right? See, I'm a 401k champion. I hit them every quarter, right? But everybody's gonna be hitting them that quarter, right?
I mean, is this like a temporary low on oil prices? And of course, we saw the question about Russian oil sanctions as well. In order to get Russian oil, maybe you can comment on: Are we going to be going back to that barrel, so to speak?
Well, I'll start with the last one first. I think we are going to start integrating Russia more fully back into the global energy market. I think that at some point the sanctions will have to end. I think we're going to more fully integrate Iran back into the global, as the world is very thirsty and it crash that we are dangling on the edge of right now in the market, and it can't sate its thirst any other way. It needs as much oil supply and natural gas supply on the market as quickly as possible in order to avoid the real calamitous economic crash that we are dangling on the edge of right now. And that includes the United States, because people have this sort of false understanding that the United States is, completely energy independent. We are not. We absolutely require the heavy crude oil coming in from places like Russia. The rest of the world needs Iranian oil. So in order to ameliorate a real economic calamity, it's going to be bad still, because the strait has been closed for too long and those producers have been offline in the Middle East for too long. But in order to ameliorate some of the worst case scenario, they're going to have to reintegrate not only Russia, but Iran into the global market again, so they can flood those supplies onto market. Remember, look,
and what he's saying right here, like he's talking about like easing the sanctions on Russia and Iran, right? And those sanctions is what made America have the hegemon of everything, of oil sanctions and things like that. That's how America had the hegemon. It's metaphorical foot on the necks of the nations of the world. So they're losing. This Trump is such a dumbass and a baboon, right? He decided to chimp out with Benjamin Netanyahu to start this war for no reason whatsoever, right? Start this war for no reason whatsoever, and then lose his power. First of all, had to abandon his objectives there to get the Strait of Hormuz back open on, saying he didn't need it, but obviously you do, considering you're not completely energy independent. But you go look on Fox News right now, he says we are energy independent. Baboon regime, right? That hurt you financially. The way you kept the hegemon, you're going to have to lose it to continue to exist, right? You have to remove these sanctions off of Russia and Iran so that you can make your markets more tolerable for the common man. You have to surrender power. That sounds so stupid to me, right? That's where we are in 2026. That's the baboon regime that these Caucasian races want. That's what they want. I don't understand it, right? When I went to HEB and saw this woman who had like the America first hat. I forgot which one. She had that on. She was talking about she's tired of paying all these high gas prices and stuff like that. Well, you voted for it. This is what you want. This is what this baboon regime does. This is what they do, right? But this is him. This is the Lord putting that spirit on him to fuck this up. But the thing is, I say all that to say this. By doing all of that, this is what can cause the famine. This is what could cause like martial law, upheaval, insurrections. This is what can cause all of this. This war is not over. We have to remember to be watching things like this. We have to remember to watch the news, actual information, where people talk about what's actually going on, who's not influenced by the shekel holders, by the small hats, the moils. Them. We have to watch media that is not controlled by them. This is how we understand that we're close to the end, right? And this is going to keep going, but let's just give the Bible for this real quick. So I need people to understand this. First Peter, because this is what before we go into anything, this needs to be said, right? So First Peter 1:13 ESV, it says, therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ, right? So we need to set and prepare our minds for action. That's what Noah did. The Lord told him there will be a flood, and this is how you survive it, and this is what you need to do, right? He was given something to believe in, and he had works he had to do to be saved, right? This is what we need to do. We see it about to rain. We know it's going to rain. Prepare ourselves mentally with our faith first and foremost in our belief system. Get our works correct. Stop living in gray areas, Israelites, right? All of us, even myself, stop living in gray areas, Israelites. Keep the Torah, right? Have faith in Christ, true faith in Yahweh, first and foremost. Prepare yourself mentally and physically. Take your ass to the gym, right? Read your Bible. That's the gym in your mind, right? Read your Bible. Do a few reps of that, right? We have to be prepared for what's going to happen, because this we're going to start seeing the testing of people. Like that same person you go to camp with every week, or that same brother you meet with to congregate with, we're going to start seeing people stop doing that. We're going to see people making excuses to stop doing that. We're going to see people start going back into Christianity. We're going to start seeing people fall for dumb people who believe that they're Christ. We're going to start seeing that. This is why Psalms 91 exists. We're going to start seeing things like that, and you have to mentally prepare yourself for it. Part of that mental preparation is preparing yourself and your family, getting your household in order. These are things that we have to do. This war is not over with. The longer America is embroiled with this war, the worse the economy is about to get for us, and it's going to happen in a day. Because what's been happening the last few weeks is Trump and his baboon regime has been manipulating the markets to where he'll say some wild shit on the weekend, and then right before the markets open up, he just declares peace. But you can only do that for so long. It's been peace. But one day the markets are going to stop falling for that. Wait a minute, we don't have oil. But you know what's going to happen that day? A sudden crash. A sudden crash. And you know what that reminds me of? This. 1 Thessalonians 5. So 1 Thessalonians 5:1. Paul was in the spirit when he said this. Now concerning the times and the seasons, brothers, you have no need to have anything written to you, right? I shouldn't even have to tell y'all this. If we're all children of light, we're all believers of the Bible, we have the understanding. I shouldn't have to tell y'all anything, right? Just like how Paul shouldn't have to tell his church anything about what he's about to say here. For you yourselves are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night, meaning it will catch people off guard. All the stuff remember we read in Matthew 24 how it talked about the sign of your coming. All these things has to happen. All the bots in the world are not paying attention to this. They think this war and all the things that's happening with the economy will be a passing thing. They think it will be a passing thing and it will just move on by. But I don't think that with this. I'm not trying to be a false prophet. I don't think that with this. I think this is going to have, like, even if America somehow tries to pull its way out of this, this is going to have an economic crash at some point, right? And everything we see regarding what has to happen before Christ comes is all derivatives and derived from an economic crash. So knowing that, People are not paying attention to that, but y'all should be, as people in the light. For you yourselves are fully aware the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night, comes like a thief in the night, while people are saying there is peace and security. Right now, this isn't like somebody has announced peace and security. No, that's not what that means. Paul is talking about a collective mindset of the people and the bots around you. I look at people now, if you're not understanding what's going on, you're a bot to me. If you're watching Fox News, CNN, getting your news from Instagram, that right there is killing me. You're getting your news. I heard a nigga in my job say that. I was just like flabbergasted, right? You get your news from Facebook and Instagram. You're a bot. These people saying peace and security, thinking all this stuff is going to fly by. It says, then sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. That's what's going to happen. One day, a day is going to come where Trump cannot manipulate this market, and you're going to see the S&P 500, the Dow Jones take a nosedive. You know what happens when that happens? Your dollar ain't worth shit. What are you going to do in that day? What is your ark going to look like then? You know, all of us, we're all building an ark. We all know it's going to rain one day. We're all building an ark. What is your ark going to look like? What does it look like? It says, but you are not in darkness, brothers, for that day to surprise you like a thief. For you are all children of light, children of the day. We are not of the night, or of the darkness. So then let us not sleep as others do, but let us keep awake and be sober. This is what Peter was talking about in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13. Now in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13, in the KJV, it says, be sober-minded. This is the sobriety, being in the light and understanding what's going on around you. Build your ark. Build your ark. I delivered that like, what's that dude? Is it close doors? Close the doors. That's how I did that. But build your ark though. Low key, like high key. Build your ark, right? Study. Get in the gym because we never know we might need to flee or whatever. You don't want to be the fat ass. You don't want to be the fat ass that runs out of breath. Like I might be a big dude, but look, my wind is pretty good. I will get on the elliptical and be on there for 40 minutes to an hour, 3 to 4 times a week. Like that, I'm telling you. Get in the gym, get in the mental and spiritual gym, which is wait, no, I got it this time. This right here. Y'all ain't seen this one. Oh, I ain't brought this out in a minute. Right, this is my old KJV. That's been through a good 10 years of beating up and hitting the streets. Right. This is me getting, you want to be able to lift this thing up, right? When the false Christ comes, you want to be able to lift this up. When your brother wants to believe in something that's bullshit, you want to be able to lift this up. You don't want to just lift up the bar. You want to be exceeding the bar, right? Do that. Build your ark, right? So let me get another one. Right, Matthew. Let's go back to Matthew 24. That might be, I'm not going to hold you. That might be the saying of the year right now in 2026. Build your ark, because I'm not going to hold you. Q3 or quarter 3 in America it's probably going to be pretty bad. I'm not going to hold you. Like I went to HEB today, and that's usually the link. I got yesterday. That's usually the link, and I got 2 bags worth of groceries for $57. I'm looking like, bro, this is like. I said this has to stop, bro. It has to get something gonna have to give, bro. Because I'm telling you one matter. I'm not about to say that because y'all don't need to know that information, right? But Matthew 24. So Matthew 24 and 36 is but concerning the day and hour, no one knows. Not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. But the Son somehow God. but only the Father knows when the day of the Lord is going to be. It says, "For as were the days of Noah, so shall the coming, so shall be, so will," I'm trying to read it like it's KJV, "so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day when Noah entered the ark." So when you see this right here, right, when it talks about eating and drinking, look at earlier in this passage. We read it earlier. So it says there will be this in verse 7. "For nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places." There's going to be, the only way for a famine to be in America in totality is an economic collapse, right? So, like I said, there's going to be a time where people are eating and drinking. Everything's fine. You can go to the store. You can go to HEB right now. You go to Walmart. What's the other ones? Myers. What's the other places y'all got? Sam's Club. Damn. They get Kirkland stuff from Costco. You can go there now, and you're paying a high price on groceries, but you can still afford them. But there's going to come a time where that's going to be hard. You're looking at America, like a good amount of people last year or this year received a 2 to 3% increase in wages, but inflation is gone up by 25%, 20 to 25%. You're making less money, and stuff is going even higher. You're in stagflation right now. That leads to an economic collapse. That's when people are going to start fighting each other and then ignoring the legitimate government, like I said in 2nd Ezra. That's when that time is. But right now, people are eating and drinking, just like in the days Noah was before the flood. What caused the flood? The rain. It's sprinkling right now. Build your ark. That's the mantra for the rest of 2026. Build your ark, bro. And I'm saying that to myself too, because I can do better. We got to build our ark. We can't just think that, just we have faith. Like that too. A lot of niggas' faith is, I wouldn't consider it faith. But we can't just bank on that as well. We know, just like how Noah knows and knew, right? Just not know, but knew that there would come a time where the flood would come and he had to be prepared for it. We should do the same. Build your ark, bro. What did brother say? It says, "Will the 2/3 be in the kingdom and their souls be destroyed?" No, they won't be destroyed. Like, the watch said earlier, right? It says the 2/3 will be born in the kingdom after the lake of fire, right? They have to be. The reason why that is, just real quick, I go here. You can make this point without Paul, but it's just easier to make it here with Paul. So, right, you see in verse 15 all the way to verse 17, it talks about the law. The law was given to Israel. And it says, "For if the inheritance come by the law, it is no more a promise, but God gave it to Abraham by promise." The reason why Abraham's true patriarch, like not patriarchy, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then 12 tribes, the Israelites, us, the reason why we're receiving it is because of the promise. When you look at the promise, there was no constraints on it saying you have to keep the law to get this. The Lord swore by himself that this would happen. So you see Paul say in verse 19, so what was the point of the law? It was added for transgressions, that you know what rules and structure that the Lord wanted you to do and what overstepping those would be in the punishments thereof, right? That's not to negate the punishments, because like we said, the 2/3, since they transgress, they have to know death by pain, like 2nd Ezra says. But they have to ultimately obtain the promise because the Lord promised it to those specific people. I did a lesson on this. I did a lesson like 3 or 4 times before, but we still have to get it because of the promise. That's just a quick microwave way of understanding it. We're getting the kingdom because of the promise and for no other reason. And Christ is what gives us access to that promise. Let's do one more. We got 30 more minutes for this episode. I tell you, man, I am hungry. Let's see. I've seen teachers with SLT saying the babes in the kingdom were not. If that's what brothers want to believe, that's what they want to believe. but it's, you know, it'll be problematic if you ask these questions. To be honest. Like, just, and I'm not saying that to cause any strife, but just basically, like, when you look at the understanding of how we come to that conclusion, when you look at, there's not really any answer you could give that wouldn't be your own interpretation. Because, like, let's look at this one. Matthew 5:17, the one all Hebrew Israelites that no one understand. Yeah, this right here. Do not think that I come to abolish the law of the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota, not a dot will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. It says they're in the kingdom of heaven. If they're not going to be in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have to explain why Christ said the people who didn't keep the commandments and taught people so, you're going to have to explain why it says they're going to be least in the kingdom of heaven. Right? And you can't play a game and say, well, Israel by itself is the kingdom of heaven. The reason why you can't play that game when you keep reading, but it says, whoever does them and teach them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. So this is meaning you being delivered to this specific place. So you can't play a game with that. Like the only other way to combat this is just say, well, we have a different interpretation, and that's fine, right? You know, I don't care as long as you are there teaching the Israelites to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We'll figure that out then, right? I'm just trying to get V-Funk out of here, right? No, Slaggy, right? But that's how I feel, right? But let's deal with this last thing. We got 31 minutes before the Sabbath is over with. Let me see. This, y'all, this is where, like, I want to show this. I'm showing this because this is what I've had to deal with Christians for like the last few years, being like on the internet and talking to them in public. Like, these Christians, they are full of guile and trickery. And I just thought of a verse when I did that I always pull. What you're about to see is this man, this Christian, literally setting up a trick and a trap for Hebrew Israelites to fall in to make us look like we're attacking Christians. Watch this. This is Jeremiah Hicks. I'm gonna call him a content creator. These guys are not Christians. They're not following you. Like, what I'm about to show after this shows you how they're not Christians. This is trickery. Hey, back up, back up, back up. See, this is IUIC pushing the. Hey, back up, back up, back up, back up.
You literally hate white people. You hate white people, and y'all out here like Power Rangers in purple. Don't tell me what to do. Hey, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Take your signs and take this.
He's not even, bro. You're not even like. Oh, I was about to be wild. That was about to be a major pause. You're not that guy, bro. You're not that guy. Like, you ain't been in fights like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, anytime when people do stuff, like people who've been in fights and people who are about that, they're not about to try to make it appear like they're like that. if people know what I mean by this, they're not about to make it appear. They're not about to make it appear like they're like this. How can I say it? Like this, like they're not about to see whatever, bro. You know, they're about to act like they're this super, like, no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. They're gonna try to act more gangster than they're not gonna try to act extra gangster. Y'all not about to make clips out of me. It's not happening. It's not happening. You're not making clips out of me, right? He's not about to try to act overly gangster. The way he was. Yeah, you know, look, you're not making clips out of me, bro. I love y'all. It's not happening, right? It's not happening. But look how he's looking.
Hey, take your signs and take this. Hey, back up. Tell me what to do. Hey, back up, back up, back up, back up.
Bro, you're not that guy.
Take your signs.
Look, he said it, not me. Like, thou sayest, brother, right? You know, thou sayest. But like, look how he's trying to pressure them, bro. You're not that guy. You're a Christian. You're a Christian influencer. Let's be honest. But here's the thing. He's doing all this. No, I'll say that when we watch the clip. Let's finish out the clip. It's like 30 minutes.
And take this broke gospel and your hatred and go down the street because you hate white people. I'm not down with it, bro. We're not some punk church, and you're not gonna come over here talking about you hate people. I hate it. This is what God said. It's not what we said. As it is written, Jacob have I loved. Jacob have I loved. But Esau have I hated. Hey, back up.
Okay, that was it. That's all he posted. So he says, confront racist Hebrew Israelites, assault me at church. So he's saying, he's trying to make it seem like Hebrew Israelites are coming to the church to assault him, right? Now let's see what actually happened. And I love IUIC for doing this. They show this. They show his footage, and then they show their footage. Now watch this.
Back up. You literally hate white people. You hate white people. And y'all out here.
And matter of fact, IUIC literally says they're not a hate group. And every one of their videos, they have that disclaimer. Like, where did you even get this?
Like Power Rangers in purple. Don't tell me what to do. Hey, back up. Take your signs and take this broke gospel and your hatred and go down the street because you hate white people. I'm not down with it, bro. We're not some punk church, and you're not gonna come over here talking about you hate people. I hate it. This is what God said. It's not what we said. As it is written, Jacob have I loved. Jacob have I loved. But Esau have I hated.
So now IUIC is about to show their footage. Now let's see if they really just came to attack these Christians. Let's see if that's what actually happened, right? They send Esau to try to encroach on them, which is gonna make somebody step up. Like that's what a good postman does. Hold on.
We're reading. This is our platform. When it says in times past Gentiles, how can you at one point be a Gentile and all of a sudden be the children of God? How does that work?
Yeah, he can't deal with the Bible, so now he does this.
How does that work? We're going to keep reading. Come on.
Look at that. See that he started the clip as they're approaching him. This man tried to grab and take their property and do whatever with it. That's why I said in Dallas it would not go like that. Look, there's so much footage. Like if y'all been watching us for a long time, there's so much footage that you have not seen. People have tried this and it has not gone their way. Now I see how they showed decorum right here. It showed decorum right here. But this is what this dude did, bro. This man literally went there to cause an issue and then crop the footage from when they're approaching him and grabbing him while he's attempting to take or move or basically, I mean, assaulting somebody's property is assaulting them too. That's still going for battery. That's what he did. They just defended themselves. That's what this dude. Look at him without you. So much footage never got posted, right? So much like that would it would if we had a Patreon, it would be crazy. it would be crazy. But this is what this dude did. That's trickery. That's trickery. He didn't play his. Look at this. Look where he started.
Back up.
That's where he starts his footage from. But when you watch the video, he literally advances on him. After not being able to deal with the Bible, because I know what they were talking about. He was trying to say, "Oh, don't God love the Gentiles or something like that?" And then they went to 1 Corinthians 12, either 1 Corinthians 12 or Ephesians 2, where it says you were in time past Gentiles. He had no answer for that. So what he did, I'm about to make a clip. So now I'm about to grab their stuff to where now they advance on me. and then edit the footage like we just going around attacking people. This is why I say that is a bullshit religion, and it makes you just like your father, the devil. Because Esau been doing that. Jim Green do it too, but Esau been doing that, right? Look at this. Let me show you something. I always pull this verse. Always. I always will pull this verse. 1 Peter 2:21. For to this you have been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving us an example. So this is what all the Christians should be like. It should follow his steps so that you might follow his steps. He committed no sin. Y'all teach us to not keep the law, right? And it says, neither was deceit found in his mouth. This is deceit. Going there, causing a commotion, and then cropping the footage when we do something about it is deceit. You are not a Christian. You're an antichrist. What you did there, Jeremiah. Of course, he had to have a biblical name. Jeremiah Hicks. You're an antichrist. It's so wild that they get to do this.
Literally hate white people. You hate.
Where is it?
Is that what? We're gonna keep reading. Come on. Hey, bro, hold on. Hey, keep the order. Keep the order. Step back. Hey, this is all property. Did I ever say I hate it?
Well, what is it? I'm trying to figure out, what is he doing? What is this guy doing right here? He's trying to get in between them for what though? Like you, like you're literally you're antagonizing the situation.
Keep the order. Keep the order. Step back. Hey, this is all property. Did I ever say I hated white people? I never said that. Give Romans 9:13.
Look at that. He's still grabbing their property.
Did I ever say I hated white people? I never said that. Give Romans 9:13. Hey, listen. This is what it says.
That's what I mean, bro. Like, that's what I mean about Christians. If y'all have the true religion, why don't y'all come and confound us? Why don't you come? Like, why don't you post a clip of you confounding them? Why do you post a clip of you causing an issue and then them dealing with it? And then in your own clip, you post yourself getting confounded. You talked about, oh, you guys hate white people. Then they read the cut about how God hates white people. You have nothing to say. You just put a suspense behind it like something happened. That's antichrist, bro. That's literally antichrist. Now look at this. It gets even worse. Let's look at this. So he visited them another time. I don't know if this is before or after the other. This might be before. I don't know. Right? So he visits them on Juneteenth. Imagine that. He visits them on Juneteenth. Watch it. Hit by racist black people.
Don't hit me, bro. Don't hit me.
Come back to our God.
What's your name, man?
We mad neck. Because the blood comes through his skin.
Why do y'all hate white people so much?
The so-called white men.
The better question, why do you hate black people so much? On Juneteenth, the day that's supposed to be the day where I live in Texas, so this holiday is more apropos for us than any other state, any other, like, this is our holiday specifically, but black people, it's a black people's holiday. But that what you choose to do is harass IUIC, who's bringing people back to God, to keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. You choose that day specifically to go up against them. You hate black people. So why don't you love white people? You know why we probably don't like. You know why we probably don't love white people? It's probably because they want to enslave us. We've literally just seen it with Patriot Front and these various white supremacists. Why you don't go to where they and ask them, why do you hate black people? Why don't you do that? Why don't y'all? I guarantee you. I really hope this happens. I guarantee you he sees them and then be like, we're gonna pray for them. And then not harass. I guarantee it. But why do you hate black people? Look at this.
Not have melanin. The so-called white man.
The Bible says this. It says if you hate someone, you've already committed murder in your heart.
Let's read Romans 9. But this coon don't want to talk about that.
I'm a coon. Why am I a coon?
Because you're harassing Hebrew Israelites on Juneteenth. I don't know how much more of a coon you could be. I mean, you probably can. You know, we got freaking what's his name, dude with the crooked eye here in Fort Worth. I mean, you probably like right up under it. They'll still do the same. I can see him doing this though. So I don't know how much more of a coon you could possibly be.
I don't want to help your people like the Bible says. He damn dummy and age information.
I'm a dummy.
You can go on Google and Google any damn thing. Them coons make me tired, man.
Coons make you tired?
Yeah, man. I'm cool. Bring it out.
Why are you out here?
He said he hates them. Why?
Hating
because
white people.
all the destruction that he's done.
Making fun of white people.
Back up.
Calling them rednecks.
Back up. You don't wake up, it's coming to your ass, bro. Right. It's coming to you, bro.
It's coming to me?
It's coming.
What's coming to me? What's coming to me?
His boy back here. Billy. All he care about is Billy.
His name is Tony. Tony.
That's it. Tony. He's a Babylon.
Oh no, I didn't, bro. Look. I just seen this. I know you fucking lying. Hold up. I know you. They're holding camp in front of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is where black children go to die. They're holding camp in front of that, and you're gonna go and try to mess to them in front of Planned Parenthood. They doing a mighty work. Even if you disagree theologically, they're opposing Planned Parenthood. You had to have done that on purpose. They're opposing Planned Parenthood. Oh my God. This is why you're a coon. This is why you're from Raccoon County. They're holding camp in front of Planned Parenthood where black children and black people go to die. But you took on Juneteenth while people are protesting or holding camp. It's really the same thing, like covered under the same amendment, right? While people are doing that, you want to go against them on Juneteenth? You gotta go. You have to go, right? And you want to know some hypocrisy? Let me show you. Let me load. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna show you some hypocrisy. Let me show you some hypocrisy. That made me remember something. Let me see.
Wow.
Hating white people.
I'll show y'all some hypocrisy.
Making fun of white people.
Back up.
Calling them rednecks.
Back up. You don't wake up, it's coming to your ass, bro. Right. It's coming to you, bro.
It's coming to me?
It's coming.
What's coming to me? What's coming to me?
His boy back here. Billy. All he care about is Billy.
His name is Tony. Tony.
That's it. Tony. He's a Babylon.
See, he can't even talk without saying the N-word.
So
everybody says nigga, bro. Christians say black people been saying nigga since nigga been nigga. Oh my God, bro. It irritates me because I just saw the Planned Parenthood thing right there, right? And I looked at the rest of his content just to see if things were relevant. So what I just went and pulled up. Look at this. Look at this. This is one of his more recent videos. Is it on the screen? Look at this. Look how nice he is with this woman who wants to kill a black baby.
Matter.
Yes.
Do unborn Black lives matter?
I mean, this is if they got anything okay. No, for real. Here's the thing. Unborn.
Yes.
Unborn. Sorry. All Black Lives Matter, right? All Black Lives Matter.
Except the ones that
she gotta go to. I ain't gonna hold you. She gotta go to.
Inside of
but
their
when
mother's
you're
stomach.
in a womb, you're not unborn. You're
not a black
parasite.
life.
You're a
You're a
parasite.
parasite?
You're
Really?
a parasite. 100%.
With a heartbeat and
But that's why there's restrictions.
DNA. I mean, there's some, but not a lot.
Right.
The founder of Planned Parenthood said this: I don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population.
You don't want to exterminate. I don't want to exterminate it either. But
Do you support Planned Parenthood?
There is restrictions in place for a reason. right?
There's restrictions in place to kill babies.
You support Planned.
So he is avidly against Planned Parenthood, but you took the time where IUIC was out there holding camp in front of Planned Parenthood on Juneteenth to harass them. That's Christians. That's Christians. That is Christianity. Just like when we go out there to teach at the AT&T Center, at the AT&T headquarters, right? And the Christians that are over there, Miss Janice and them, when they abandon their mission of evangelism to go harass us, that's evidence that these people don't really even give a damn. Y'all don't care about God. Y'all don't care about what y'all even do. Y'all are just demonic. You're not of God. It's really wild, bro. You're such a hypocrite. Like the hypocrisy in it. A true, like 1 Peter's 1 and 20, 1 Peter's 2 and 21 talks about 21 through 22 talks about the true Christians who follow the example of Christ. They don't sin, neither is guile found in his mouth. Both of those fit this man to a T. This man is an avid hypocrite and an avid asshole, to be honest. Right? To be honest, you just avid asshole. That's all this is. You're a hypocrite. Now, let me get some Bible on this. Let me get some Bible on this asshole real quick. Right. So let me get Exodus 23. So Exodus 23. This is exactly what he did when he made that video on IUIC trying to say they attacked him. Right? That's what they did. So this is what he did, I mean. So Exodus 23 and 1. You shall not spread a false report. Let me say it again. You shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with the wicked to be a malicious witness. The same exact thing he did when he sent Esau to start a commotion, and then he started a commotion. But of course, when you're a Christian and the law doesn't matter, now you can do this and it's perfectly fine. That's what Christ wants. Christ wants you to stage an event and you lie to the masses to spread his truth. That's what Christ wants, according to y'all's Christ. That's why this religion is a baboon ass religion, and you got these niggas out here chipping out. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. Like this too. Let me show you this. And we're gonna talk about this on Wednesday because you know. Where is this at? This right here. Where is? Let me move this over here so y'all can see. Y'all see this right here? That one at the top in the middle. It says, "Are Christians ever told to keep the law?" In this video, the smart Christian says, if you're keeping the law, you're going to hell. You know who else said that long before he did that? Creflo Dollar. Ask me how I know that. That's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday. If you're keeping the law, you're going to hell. That's how all these Christians believe. That's what they do. That's what they perpetuate. That's why you will get up on there and create a false report and say, oh, they attacked you. Y'all got to go. Right? You have to it's just what I can't respect is when people use our theology, like the Bible, and the beliefs and the concepts of it to then be the devil the Bible speaks of. I just have such a it makes me just, it's like a fire inside of me that I just want to just do violence. That's what when I see it, right? Because it's especially when it's our people, because it's keeping us here. I'm tired of being here, bro. Like my office that I have to do these lives, I have to have 2 fans on me because it's so hot in here. Right? And it makes me mad to see dummies on the internet use our God and build a platform to lie to people purposefully. Like not even you're misunderstood. You purposely and maliciously put a lie on Israelites and to other people. That irritates me to no end. Let me get more Bible. Right? Because since they don't care about works, it's okay for them to transgress. And they want to talk about faith, but it's this. Titus 3 and 8. What a stupendous verse. Titus 3 and 8. It says, this saying is trustworthy, and I want you to insist on these things so that those who have believed in God may be careful to devote themselves to good works. These things are excellent and profitable for people. This is a truthful and faithful thing. In the KJV, it says faithful instead of trustworthy, right? People who believe in God, you have to devote yourself to a good work. Is staging an event to where you can lie on people for the masses to see, for thousands of people to see? Is that a good work? Obviously not, because that's Exodus 23. You're breaking Exodus 23. Both stanzas. Making a false report and joining hands with the devil to do evil. But when you're a Christian, that doesn't matter. Okay, let's get another one. Because like brother said earlier, he said you look in the comment section, you have Christians saying like giving him a pat on the back like he did something. Like, why don't you post it? Where's the footage of you confounding them? Where's the footage of you using the sword of God to really battle? Right? It's like Bryce Crawford. Like, at least Bryce Crawford to try to deal, to be honest. That's a shame. That's a shame Esau try to deal. But our people, bro. You can't. Where's the footage of you confound them? You know what? It don't exist, because if you play it back, it's gonna be nothing but you being confounded. It irritates me. It's so irritating, because it's like not only do I feel this way from people do this with IUIC, people have done that to me on the internet multiple times, right? You even got the thing what happened with Jim Green. This man made 36 shorts of me taking my words out of context and then attacking them on the internet for people to see. Right? And still didn't get any views. At the end of it, still didn't get any views off of me confounding him. Where are the parts? Why don't you play the parts where you had no answer? That's what Christians do. Since they know they can't deal with us theologically, they have to make themselves look righteous and look like they won, so their followers will give them a pat on the back, right? Let's look at this. So 2 Timothy 3:1. But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty. And boy, do I know that. For people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive. Some people abuse their wives, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful and unholy. We've seen that. These are sinners. Look at this. Heartless, unappeasable, slanderous. That man literally slandered, which is also another Torah commandment in Leviticus 19 and Deuteronomy. So it's like that, that's these people without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, and what we just seen was treachery. You premeditated a plan that I'm going to go grab their things so that they approach me, because you know they will do that based off of your other encounters, and then want to cut the film and crop it to where now it looks like they're attacking you. That's treachery. What is the Greek rendering of treachery? A betrayer, a traitor, right? Okay. Surrender, betrayer, traitor, you know. So, and this be killing me too. Why quote the Apocrypha if you're not gonna have it on your ad? Let's go with this. It says reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. That's these Christians. I wish it was a way to avoid them. They're always going to be here. They're always going to make a video. They're always going to make comments. They're always going to be out there. They're always going to come and harass us at camp, or we're not even bothering them. IUIC is the pillar of not bothering anybody when you think about it. Like they say we're not a hate group. We don't do anything like that. They really only deal with their own people, from what I've seen. There could be anomalies, but that's what I've seen for the most part, right? But here you go. Here you go. They have the form and appearance of godliness, but they deny the power because they don't believe in it. Verse 6, for among them are those who creep into households and capture weak women, burdened with sins and led astray by diverse passions. And that's who the main people in the church are. Women doing madness. And when you go look at their life, the main woman in the front saying, yes, pastor, keep on going, pastor, is the same people saying that when they're in their bedroom, right? But it's also, which is also, when you see that woman and see their past, all the way up until that point, those be the main ones who've been the most promiscuous women. Let's use that word. That's the same exact ones who've been the most promiscuous women their entire life, but now they feel guilt by their promiscuity, right? And want to be in the church houses. The ultimate, the greatest, the final, no, I'm saying it wrong. The final form of a hoe is the Christian woman. Right? The final, I heard that off of, where did I hit off of Ugly Money Nietzsche, right? You know, the final form of a hoe is that Christian woman with that short hair who shows up on Wednesdays for Bible studies and on Sunday. That's their final form. You know, when Frieza said, "This isn't even my final form, monkey." Like that, that's what their final form is. But let me get one more. Let me get one more before we close out, right? So this is Christianity in a nutshell. Where do I want to start? Where do I want to start? Let's start at 12. Oh no, I'm tripping. I'm big tripping. We gotta read that last verse. We gotta read that last verse. Because this is gonna be applicable to what we're about to read like after this. So verse 7, always learning and never able to arrive at the knowledge of the truth. That these people, they'll walk around with these. Most of these Christian influencers don't never walk around with these, but they will go to their church houses and hear verses out of these and will never come into the ideology of them being Israelites. They need to keep the law, what the true faith looks like, and the behavior of a true Christian. They will never be able to bench press this. That's what they do. They will never, ever be able to bench press this. That's why they do that. And speaking of bench pressing this, right? Where is this at? Oh, don't tell me I closed it. Don't tell me I closed it. Oh, I didn't. Speaking of bench pressing this, while we're at it, so this is Isaiah chapter 29 in the GNT, right? So it says, if you give it, it's talking about the Bible, right? The words of God. If you give it to someone who can't read and ask them to read it to you, he will answer that he does not know how. The Lord said, the people claim to worship me, but their words are meaningless, right? And their hearts are somewhere else. Their religion is nothing but human rules and traditions, which they have simply memorized, right? Now, the human rules, they simply memorize Easter, Christmas, holidays, various different things, right? The ideology is antinomianism, the Trinity, the virgin birth. That's simple things that they have memorized. They haven't memorized this. They don't read this. They can't understand this. It's like on Boondocks, but it's where they were trying to exorcise a black demon in Tom, and he said, nigga, read. And he's like, the book. He said, job application. That's these niggas, bro. They can only do things. They can only do and follow things that humans have created. I'm gonna read this again. It said their religion is nothing but human rules and traditions which they have simply memorized. So I will startle them with one unexpected blow after another. And that's what happens with Christians. Like, because what ends up happening is he's gonna so what happens with Christians, like when they do things like this, the Hebrew Israelites, they feel more emboldened to have more conversations. And when they do that, they end up getting confounded. And it's ultimately, I want to find that footage. It's ultimately hilarious, right? That's what ends up happening. Then stuff starts happening in their life. These are these unexpected blows, one after another, because the Lord he's not gonna prosper that for but so long, right? He's very long suffering. He's only gonna do this for but so long, but to allow y'all to do this madness stuff. It's madness and stuff. It says, those who are wise will turn out to be fools, and all their cleverness will be useless. All these people, all these Christian pastors, all these apologists, all these influencers, because I'm not calling that man an apologist. He's not. He should give us an apology, right? These Christian influencers, they're gonna look like they know things. All these Christians pat them on the back, but when they actually go seek to them for wisdom, they're gonna be made out to be useless. When World War III happens, when the economy crashes, and all these people are gonna look, Christians are gonna look for answers, they pastors are not gonna have them. And boy, I wish I could be a fly on the wall for that day. Oh, I've been paying you all this tithe money, and you can't tell me what's going on. I gotta just have faith and keep paying you tithe money. Like, no, they're not gonna deal with that. They're gonna stand up like on Half Baked. Somebody boo this man. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. And boy, is that gonna be a day, bro. Boy, is that gonna be a day. If I could only be a fly in the wall for that, bro. But yeah, like, hold up. Let me. If I could only be a fly on the wall for that, boy, I'm telling you, because I'm telling you, like, we see things we see those parables that Christ gave. One of them, the 10 virgins. Or you got the 5 foolish ones, and then you got the 5 wise ones that were ready to go into the feast, and then the door was shut while the foolish ones went out to go find oil. But when they went and found the oil, the door was already shut on them. That's gonna be these people. Like, you're killing me. You're killing me, Loki. You're killing me, bro. You're killing me. It's just, in 2026, being a Christian, you really got to come to grips with, you're just doing this to make yourself feel better. It's not because there's any power behind this religion. It's not because it means anything, or you even believe it means anything. It's because it makes you feel better. Just like how my dad told me a long time ago, when he told my mom, when I asked him, why do you keep going to church with my mom since you don't believe in this? He said, well, it makes me feel better. That's you Christians. That's when I found out about true Christianity that day. My dad told me that when I first came into truth. I was like, damn, I am in the truth now, if that is the case. But yeah, man, that's it. The Sabbath's pretty much over with. I got to go get me some food because, it is what it is. But, like I said, we're going to do some closing. Hit that. If you ain't hit that like button, I don't know what you're doing, right? You don't love your brother. Don't say you keep Leviticus 19 and 17. Don't tell me you keep Matthew 5 or Christ, either Matthew 5, Matthew 6, or Christ said love your neighbor. Don't say you love your neighbor if you didn't hit that like button. It costs you nothing, right? Leave a comment, right? You're a piece of shit. I don't care. I'll see it, I'll look at it, and I'll file it under my list of things that I don't give a fuck about, right? It is what it is, right? You can do that. If you want to get in contact with the school, emails floating on down there. Wait, there it goes, right? The Masada School at gmail.com. If you want to get in contact with us, be interested in joining the school, joining the camp, doing the work of God, right? Also, if you want to donate to us, it's also on the screen. Cash App $, the Masada DTX. Yeah, like I said, I posted a video yesterday about I had a street debate about Deuteronomy 7. What else I got going on? Oh, stay tuned on Wednesday when we have I talked about it earlier, like 2 or 3 times already. But if you're keeping it on, I want y'all to know, y'all Israelites out there who are listening to Christ and God and the apostles and Peter and all the relevant biblical figures that are righteous, who told you to keep the law. If you're doing that, just know you're going to hell according to the Christians. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. That's going to be a fun time, right? Just know this is where we are. This is where we are, bro. I'm just like, I hate this. I hate that it exists. I hate that it exists, right? I just need to know, like, let me get one more Bible verse before we go. Like, and I'm going to put it in KJV for the Hebrew Israelites who, you know, we love you, but, you know, you can't jit. Let me do this. So 2 John, that's the 2 Peter? 2 John 7. Bro, come on, man. That's what I get from making fun of Hebrews. Many deceivers come in the world. Let's see. Oh, it's 9. Right. I just want to understand this. Like, if you're keeping the law, you're going to hell. 2 John 1:9, it says, "Whoever transgresseth and abides not in the doctrine of Christ." So if to abide means to reside. If you reside in the doctrine of Christ, right, that means you don't transgress. So it says, "Whoever transgresseth and abides not in the doctrine of Christ, he that abideth in the doctrine of Christ." Wait, hold on. I said that wrong. "Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ have not God." How do we understand this Bible verse from a smart Christian? What is the breakdown? What's the breakdown to this? It literally says, "Whoever transgresseth and abides not in the doctrine of Christ have not God." What is the breakdown? What is the breakdown, bro? I need to understand it, right? It says, "He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and the Son," because the Father told you to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and so did the Son. So what is the breakdown on that? Like, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. But I'm supposed to think this is the true religion. You got me fucked up, right? But with that, I'm going to say, call all y'all. Shalom.